Good morning, Alan.
Good morning, my dear. Thank you for getting me started off here.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
I will jump on in, and I appreciate you getting me going here. Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us for another fun-filled CE class. So I hope today brings you a lot of value. So this is a 3-hour continuing education class. The class is starting now, kind of thing. There are a lot of handouts for this because there's a lot of different bells and whistles. You can find that at maximumpaRtners.com/CE class. You can see the getting started with RPR. It's a PDF. We are not going to follow that item by item, but that's there for you if you'd like it, kind of thing. So your mics and your cameras are turned off. The chat and the Q&A is available. And so the chat is where we ask you to go and put your information in there. That's just kind of a safety measure. But Zoom's going to keep up with if you get knocked out, if you log in, if you log out, all those kind of things. Zoom's going to keep up with that kind of thing. If you have a question, please put that into the Q&A. Don't put your license number, that kind of stuff. Chat moves too fast for me to follow any kind of questions. So if you put a question in the chat section, it'll just blow by me and I will not see that sucker at all. So about halfway through the class, we are going to take about a 10 to 15 minute break. If you have taken this class more often than once every 12 months, it will not count for CE credit. It normally takes us 3 to 5 business days, just say 5 business days before CE credits will be posted, kind of thing. This is, we have folks from all over the nation taking this class. So this only counts for Georgia folks. Our school is a Georgia Real Estate Academy. And so if you're taking this for information, God love you. I got no problem with it, but CE credit only counts for here in the big GA. So be patient, relax. We are going to do our absolute best to make sure that this is the best class possible. And yes, there will be a replay. I always get asked if there are replays of the classes. And so we have a YouTube channel called Real Estate Backstory. And so every Monday morning at 9, we kind of do a weekly wrap up of what's going on in the real estate market. And then also down there, if you'll scroll down, you'll be able to see a list of all the CE class replays of CE classes that myself or Ming or any of us, actually Keisha as well, have done. That's just kind of where we store them. Now those won't count for CE credit, but they are great for information or reference if you need those. So let's kind of jump ahead here. We're going to keep moving. So
Really quick before you jump ahead, I just want you to know, for those who has take RPR before, this is a whole new platform and format because RPR has changed everything around. So if you took this class before, they have enhanced that program, but to maneuver around it is slightly different. So just, even though you may not get the CE credit, this is very helpful to that. And Alan, do you know if Beth or Deb is on here?
Nope.
Okay. So. All right, cool. I was just going to give them, this class is brought by Luther Larkin and Hunter by Deborah Kalish and Beth Hudson. The ladies are located in Fayette and also in Noonan. And if you ever want to close, we have one point contact. It's made it very nice, honestly, because they'll coordinate with you to let you know if you want to close elsewhere, and they do all. So, and I'm going to put their email address in the chat box. And thank you, Alan. Sorry to interrupt.
Oh, we're good. All good. So we are easy peasy lemon squeezy here. So, all right. So let's kind of jump in here. So no one can see you. All right. So first is our notice to students, which is also one of the items in the handout. This is, there will not be a test here. So my name is Alan Richardson. I am the managing broker here at Maximum Realtor Partners, kind of thing. I am a realtor. I am a certified RPR trainer. I created this class largely because I feel RPR is underutilized. This is a really great tool that we have that so few realtors take advantage of. And we're all trying to be really conscious about, where we spend our money, what kind of value we get from our boards, that kind of stuff. And this is one of those things that so many realtors have access to, but don't take advantage of. And so that's why I wanted to create this class. So I don't work for RPR. I'm not here carrying anybody's water. Now, I do like the product. I use the product, but nobody's paying me to be here. And so therefore, I'm not indebted to anybody. And I'm going to tell you if I think it stinks or if I think it's great. And so overall, I think the product is really, really good. Don't get me wrong. But, some of the things that they love about the product, I just don't think are that great for agents. But that's okay. We all have our opinions. Kind of like we all have armpits and most of them stink. And so whether you like it or not, I'm going to give it to you. So I'm here to show you and talk to you about how we use RPR in a practical sense. I'm not here as a software designer. I'm not here as like to tout, every little feature that I don't think is really that important to most realtors. So again, my views are my own. But that being said, I do like the product. I'm not trying to bash it, but I also don't want you to think that I'm just sitting here like some of the things that they really love, that the RPR themselves loves about the product. I'm just like, it's okay. So I'll be real honest with you, and that's just kind of how we're going to roll. So let's talk about getting started with RPR, because we're going to do a lot of different things today. This is going to be kind of a up high, top down kind of overview of RPR. We're not going to go into just minute details on this kind of stuff, but we are going to give you a pretty good broad overview, as well as a whole list of tools. And I really hope that by the time that we leave today, that you have a very comfortable understanding of how to work RPR overall, and also how to get the most out of it and where to go if you need help, that kind of stuff. So at RPR, we want you to be a wildly successful realtor. In order to do that, you got to close more deals. But how do we differentiate ourselves from the competition? And so RPR is one of those things. This really is one of those, I know realtors that call RPR their secret weapon. And once you get in, you'll see how much information, which sometimes is a challenge, because it is really a lot of information. But RPR can be one of those tools in your toolbox that not a lot of folks, as I said earlier, are taking advantage of. So we are going to go over signing up, the homepage navigation, how to customize and update your profile, which is really important, using RPR with both buyers and sellers, and creating reports. If you need the handouts, you can go to maximumpaRtners.com/CE Class, because in there you're going to see the Getting Started with RPR handout. I am not following that page by page all the way through the entire thing. That's there much more for reference. We're going to go through that. And so that is there for you. Also, there's a link to my Google Drive, which has just a ton of quick start guides for all the many faces and facets of RPR. So please steal, R&D, rip off and duplicate as much as you want. That helps you to really utilize the product out there. All right. Now, first thing is, don't stress, okay? There is a ton of training and support for this product. There's a full learning menu. You can also go to blog.narrpr.com. There are training links, there are video tutorials, but really one of the biggest things is like, listen, folks, you can't break it. No matter what you do, you're not going to break it. So you really can't go wrong here to play with this product and to work it. You can't mess this thing up. You can go back and reset everything from the very beginning. So just remember, this is one of those things that's a big tool for you, but don't let this stress you out. Don't be intimidated by it, because this has a lot of great features that we can use to help us grow our business, kind of thing. So you can find a ton of information, as I said earlier, at blog.narrpr.com. That is a great source for a ton of information. Once we get into RPR, you'll also see that there is this tab which has learning on it, and you can see all this kind of learning information on there. And then also there is a help section. So if you have any kind of problems, there is a 24 hours a day, 7 days a week help number, where a live person actually picks up and answers the phone, 877-977-7576. You can also send an email at support@narrpr.com. If you do go in and start looking at the learning section, you'll see that there is lots that you can learn and go in there. So of course, if you're new, start off on the beginner and then move up into intermediate. You can go through the commercial sections. They have a ton of webinars and tutorials. Most are under an hour kind of thing. So it's very, very helpful to kind of carry on a little bit past that. Also, RPR updated itself. Not itself, they updated RPR, and in there they put in shortcuts, which you see here, and I'll go through and explain how those work here in a little bit. But the shortcuts kind of like they make learning new things easy and on the fly. So if you click one of those shortcuts, it's going to go click here, click over here, do this, and I'll show you how that goes here in just a minute. So what is RPR? RPR is NAR's technology company. It is, oh my goodness, okay. It's a wholly owned subsidiary corporation. I thought I turned all these things off, but I didn't. So the national database parcel, it has 166 million US properties. It is exclusively for realtors, and it is at no charge, and it does not go out. There is not a consumer or a public facing side to this. Everything that gets sent to a consumer gets sent through a realtor. So, we have RPR for residential agents, which has both the desktop and the mobile. It's a great place to use CMAs. You can go and pull market activity, neighborhood reports, property reports. You can do prospecting with mailing labels, and you can also get really cool school reports and that kind of stuff. And you can put those out on Facebook now, which is great. I don't see anybody doing that, and I think it's a great way to get your name out there. In addition, we have RPR for commercial agents, which is also part of it. You have the desktop. You can also access the commercial through the mobile app. And hopefully today we'll be able to fire up the mobile app and go over that today too. It has commercial sales data, commercial listing data. It also will go through and help you identify and find federal opportunity zones and hub zones. It displays listing information from all the MLSs that you've signed on to, as well as Crexi, Brevitas, and any public records that it can pull. So it doesn't have, now some of you may say, well, what about LoopNet, CoStar? They don't play together, so they're not in there. But there is still a bunch of them in there. We will kind of dance over RPR mobile today a little bit. It's where you can access property info, reports, tools while you're on the fly. It is super fast, very convenient. It works for both Apple and Android. It is also free. You can search off-market and active properties. You can take photos, add text messages, and notes to it. And you can send branded reports while you're out in the field, like you would if you were on the desktop at RPR. So let's get started. So to get started, we're going to go to, you're going to need to log in to narrpr.com. That is the main site for it. And so we'll go there here in just a second. And so the very first thing you're going to have to do when you go is get signed on. And so you're going to see a login screen. And this is where you're going to go. And if you haven't been into RPR again, and so if you have been, I'm sorry, you're just going to have to, muddle through with me here, because we got to get everybody up to the same place. So first thing you got to do is you got to create an account. So you want to go in, you want to sign in. It's the same place to sign in for both residential and commercial. You can also watch videos. So they have all these fun-filled videos that no one will watch, but they're there if you want to. Not a big fan of them, but hey, it's okay. If you like watching videos, it's a great place to go. But really what you're going to do is you're going to come in and you're going to click create account. When you do that, you're going to need your NARDS ID as well as your MLS login credentials kind of thing. So make sure you have those before you go try and sign in kind of thing. So now a lot of you are going to be like, where's my NARDS ID? So go to realtor.org and in the top right-hand corner, hit sign in. After you hit sign in, you'll see this thing where it tells you that you can sign in. You can either register, or if you've forgotten your username or your password, which will also give you your NARDS ID, you can log in and get all that kind of information there. So all you do is retrieve your username or your password, and it will give you all the information that you need. And so so once you have all that, we're going to go back, and then now you're going to have what you need in order to create an account on RPR. So everybody with me, I hope? All right. So once you put in your NARD's last name and then you put in your NARD's email address, and I'm not sure if it really is NARD's or NRDS. I'm pretty sure I just call it NARD's. So then from the drop down, you're going to pick your state, and then you're going to choose your MLS that you want to do, that you want to utilize. Now, here's one of the really cool features, especially depending on where you are. If you have multiple MLSs, like we do here in the Atlanta market, here I can put in both Georgia MLS as well as FMLS. And if I had any other MLSs I wanted to put in, I could add all of them in here. And now I can pull data from multiple MLSs into the same platform. It is pretty slick and easy. Because right now, especially, you hate being able to pull data and all you're getting is data from, Georgia MLS, or only getting data from FMLS. Now you're getting it from both, because we find a lot of times not everyone puts them in both, kind of thing. So next, it's going to tell you, exactly how you stand. If it's green, if you put your MLS information in properly, it will turn green, which means you got your username and password in the right. Now, if it's yellow, that's going to mean that you put something in wrong. You got your username, your password wrong, that kind of stuff. Normally, if it's red, it means it's not working at all. It's totally jacked up. But you got to have access to the MLSs, and this is where you go in to do that. So if you have any kind of problems, again, 877-977-7576 with logging in, or you can go to support at narrpr.com. What shouldn't you do? You shouldn't call me, okay? Because I can't log you into RPR. I don't have any of that kind of access. I am glad to help you with anything that I really can, but seriously, I'm not in RPR. I don't work for them. I don't have any access. I don't have any kind of magic buttons. So if you call me, I don't mind chatting with you, but I'm going to be real honest with you. I got a big steamy pile of nothing to help you with. So if you have problems, use them to help get you logged in. They really are there all the time, kind of thing. So now RPR is refreshed. And so, why did it get a refresh? We'll go over that in just a second. It has a new homepage, new search results, as well as a new commercial section that you can toggle on and off from directly inside the platform. So, our members said that it can be hard to find things, that they didn't know where to start, and then they needed quicker access to their work. So RPR listened and they updated RPR. Now, here is the good news and the bad news for our fun-filled group today. So the good news is this is all new, updated, fresh information. Now, the challenging thing for old Al here is this is my first class teaching with the brand new platform. So if I look a little bit confused, they just updated the site about a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago. So the end of February is when the RPR got its new facelift and change around. So the homepage now has quick links to marketing and research tools. There's new pull down menus. There's residential, commercial, all in one spot, as well as new shortcuts and new cards. And we'll go over those. Okay, sorry, these things drive me crazy. So the search is a new consolidated search form. It's more versatile. It has streamlined user interface and more filters. So, oh, come on. I thought I turned all this mess off, but apparently I got the PowerPoint wrong. So in the search review, you can preview all the counts of the properties. You have multiple views. You can look at it through a grid. You can look at it through the map as well as a list. You can also scroll through. There's a whole commercial section, with a lot of different tools. And, again, you can use it pulls data from MLS, Brevitas, Crexi, by proxy, Catalyst, OfficeSpace.com, Total Commercial, and Land Broker. So it's automatically pulling all that, as well as anything in our local MLSs that you have signed into. And then it has improved partner deep links, which I have no idea what it actually means, but it sounds cool. So, these are all the new features that are in here. We have new heat maps, which can give you so much information it will make your head literally spin off. Demographic data, FEMA flood maps, property search. It is integrated into our MLSs. It has all full neighborhood info, which we'll go over. We have the mobile, school zones, map searching, investment tools, which we'll come over, public records, school reports, driving distance, and walkability scores. So when we go into RPR, you'll see it looks like this. You know, some of our main tabs where we're going to work is we're going to go through the research section a lot, as far as map search, neighborhood search, school search. There's a whole marketing section in there that we'll go through. We'll cover all the many reports, and the different reports that you can use are depending on the type of data that you've pulled, kind of thing. And then we will access RPR mobile and go through that as well. So let's get ready for some information overload, okay? With RPR, this is the good and the bad here, folks, is that there is a ton of information, and we can literally blow our clients' minds with it. I can send my client a 50-page document off RPR in a flat second, and it'll have so much stuff that they can't make heads or tails out of. So the challenge there for us is that we got to make sure that we're using what makes sense. I find that sometimes it's easy to confuse our clients because it's just so much information. And at the same time, it's also really challenging for a lot of realtors, because this is a Cadillac of a platform. Okay, there is a ton of information. There's a lot of ways you can utilize this platform. And so it's kind of like an elephant. And we all know, how do you eat an elephant? We eat it one bite at a time. You can't just, choke it all down at one sitting. So use what makes sense. Utilize the platform in a limited way until you start getting comfortable with it, then expand how it goes. It is really not that tough once you start getting into it. But when you look at it from above and from outside, it's just like, oh my goodness, it's a lot to take in. And the same thing with our clients, because we can overload them on most of the reports. So when we actually send it to clients, we pare down what information that we're sending to them, because you can just blow it up. I mean, with a lot of information for your clients, which is good or can be a bit much. So we are going to log in here, and then once we log in, we are going to we're really going to go in and complete our profile. That's going to be one of the first things that we do and go through there. And so let's jump in, shall we? So I'm going to, all right. So here we are. So let me see. I'm just going to check and see if we have any questions. I don't see anything so far. So is everybody with me now? So hopefully you've been able to log in, and maybe you'll be here with me. But if not, then you can just follow along, and I'll take you along our merry route. So this is the main screen when you first log in. So you have, of course, if you want to see the videos, or if you need live chat or the help number, they're both down there. Both will help you if you're having any kind of problems logging in. This is where you'll come in, you'll sign in, or you'll create a new account, kind of thing. If you want to see the video, hit video, ta-da. So we're not going to watch videos because that would bore the daylights out of all of us. So once we get in here, we're just going to come in here. We're going to plug in our happy dappy little password, and boom, RPR will automatically sign in. And so this is the main screen when you first log in, kind of thing. And so just to kind of give you a brief overview, of course, we have up here is the main menu bar, which runs across the top: home, research, marketing, reports, learn, that kind of stuff. We'll go through those. Underneath here is your main search section. Under that is shortcuts, which we will cover here in just a few minutes. You can go all the way down and look at your different markets, which we'll talk about. If you have any listings, what's going on with that kind of stuff. So, and then all the way through. So first thing you want to do once you get in here is you want to click on the little, if you don't have a picture yet. So you want to go in there and click on your face. And if not a face, you're going to put that in. And so you want to come in here and click on profile. And so this is my profile, and yes, you can see my NARDS ID, very exciting. But this is where you can go in, you can change your photo, you can update put your logo in, put in your email address, you can change your passwords and that kind of stuff if you want to. Put all your contact information from your office name, brokerage name, all those kind of things that we need. You put in what your time zone is, as well as your phone numbers, that kind of stuff that you need. If you have any connected apps that you want to, then you can also see, and down here you can change your email address if you want to. You can put in your website. Also, by the way, you can also see anytime that you've accessed RPR mobile, you can see what that is, what device it was. And then now we get down here to where you can put in your MLS or CIE information. And so this is vitally important that you do that. So you want to come in here, you want to select the state and then put in your agent name and password kind of thing. And so for me, I've already done that. I'm in here for both Georgia GAMLS, Georgia MLS, as well as FMLS. So both of those are in there. You want to make sure that your listing status shows as green, and that means it's pulling data from both of those MLSs for all the information that we are going to be working with kind of thing. After that, you can put in your license number. Some states require that license numbers are in there. And then if you have any kind of assistance, so I have an administrative assistant, so she has access. If you have an assistant that you're putting in here, if you add an assistant, they have all access to everything that you're doing in your RPR. So Mackenzie can access everything in my stead the exact same way. And then it's good if you go ahead and, have subscriptions, receive the RPR updates and news and that kind of stuff. And then you always have to agree to the terms and conditions. And so you want to go in and set this up for yourself, because a lot of your reports are going to have, you can have your picture on there, you're going to have your logo, you're going to have your contact information. And so you want to be able to do that. Let's see, I have a question that says, what if someone is in 2 different states and using both markets? You can put them in there so long as you have the login information from that MLS. So you can even if you have a separate Crexi or Brevitas passwords and usernames, if you're into those commercial services, you can do that as well. And it does not integrate with LoopNet and CoStar, but the others, we have multiple MLSs you can pull from multiple states and be able to put it all in there at the same time. All right. So let's see if so that is our basic right there for just kind of gets us going for everything that we need. And you really want to take a moment and get set up in there. You can also adjust your settings, because so we have 2 different tabs here at the top. You have profile and you have settings. Now the settings tab, this is where you want to come in. And so the very first thing you want to do is, so like residential, like here our MLS sets new listings to 7 days. So that's what I have it, but you can change it out to 14, 30 days, whatever you want to show is new listings. And then you want to set recently closed sales or leases to 90 days, or you can set it out there to 120, 180, whatever you want on that kind of stuff. Same thing with commercial. You can change how, and these settings are going to be what dictates a property when you look at it on the map as showing up as new or not. So you may want to just say, hey, I only want to see new listings that are only 3 days. Well, that's fine. It's just however you choose to set that up. Now, in addition to that, you want to be able to go in and add your markets. These are markets where you operate in, where you are very comfortable, where you're knowledgeable. And so if you'll go in and set up markets, so I've set up, we have multiple offices in multiple markets. These are where most of my markets and where I live kind of thing are. And so you want to go ahead and put those markets in, because then, which we'll do in a moment, I'll show you how to pull up information on the markets, as well as be able to see what's going on in the markets, what are dates on markets for that, how are things looking in those markets. It helps you stay in the know, ready to go, feeling snazzy. So anyway, so you want to get all that set up, and then you want to hit save. Then we have to wait for the little spinny wheel of death to get through. So, all right. Well, hopefully this thing will, I don't think I changed anything. So after that, so now we're going to, let's go through this top bar really quickly, and then we'll dive back into a little bit more information. So anytime that you're ready to go back home, click the home button kind of thing. Okay, I'm still on the spinning wheel of death, so I have to do like some kind of weird soft shoe while this thing continues to play around. So anytime I'm doing Zoom, it kind of slows us down a little bit, so I apologize. Oh yeah, let's leave, that's good. I can't wait anymore. All right, so this is so we're back onto the main screen of RPR. Hopefully by now you've got your picture in there, you've got all your stuff updated. So let's go through. So the top bar right here. So, first we have home, which is there. Underneath that, we have the research tab. Now, research tab, this is where we're going to go. We're going to search for properties. We can do a map search for multiple properties and areas. We can search by neighborhoods. We can search our schools. We can look at full residential market activity, which we'll go through, as well as some commercial options on there. Even though we're on the residential and commercial side, right now it's always on there. Under marketing, we can prospect for residential clients, both buyers and sellers. We can prospect for commercial clients, both buyers and sellers. We can create our property flyers or a commercial property report. We can do all those. Now, on the bottom of each one of these is RPR marketing tips, and this one has how to research. That's just additional videos, okay? After that tab is the reports tab. And so you can, first thing up here is you have the handy dandy report bell, because once you generate a report in RPR, it normally takes it a couple of minutes to do. And this will send you a little notification, ding dong, that the report is ready. So under here, this is where you'll pull up any reports on anything that you've run. You can also see if there's been a recent report that you've done, it will show up with a number and you can pull that up. And so we'll go through that in a little bit more information. Then we have the learning tab, which has all the learning we can do, as well as the help side again with live chat, training, the whole 9 yards. Last thing on here is my work. And so my work is where you can go in and see my markets, my listing. If you've saved any properties, if you have anything you've looked at recently, you can pull up all that. You can also go through any of your reports, any notes, any saved searches, any recent searches. And again, you can watch a video on that kind of thing. So that is the main top bar. Underneath that, we have this main search section here. And so the very first thing is that we can, if you want to go to commercial, it is as quickly as that. One click and boom, now you are searching on the commercial side of things. Now, I got to be honest with you, it's better than nothing on the commercial side. There are some additional listings and information and data that you can pull, especially here in the Atlanta area. Here in the Atlanta area, probably the vast majority is either going to be through the Atlanta Commercial Board of Realtors or through CoStar and LoopNet. But it's better than nothing, if that makes any kind of sense. So you can access more information on the commercial here than you could off just any of the MLSs locally, but still it is somewhat limited, just being completely honest. So we're going to stick in the residential side of things in here. And so, we can put in our location. You can choose if you want public records for sale, for lease, whatever you want, that kind of thing, any kind of property types, all that kind of jazz, if that's what we want to. So we'll go through that a little bit more. In addition to that, we have all these filters. So if you hit the little filter tab, it opens up all the different types of filters. And so, there is a cornucopia of filters that you can use. I didn't think I'd be able to use cornucopia today in a sense, but hey, I did. So, first thing is you can change, what kind of listing status that you want, the property types. You can go in price, size, bedroom, bathroom, square footage, acreage. You can say, I only want distressed, or I don't want any distressed. Well, there aren't very many of those out there anyway. You can go through any kind of miscellaneous fields that you want. And then they also have a keyword search where, the keyword searches is basically the keywords that are the most popular keywords on RPR. And then check time mode and that kind of thing. So that is the filters section. After that is shortcuts. And I'll go through shortcuts here in just a minute. We'll back up and go through shortcuts, and I'll show you how those work. Those make anything that you're going to do crazy easy. All right. So there's really no excuse for not working anything out, because if you want to prospect, use a map, career report, any of those kind of things, you can go through it all through the shortcuts, and it makes life easy. Under that is the My Markets tab kind of thing. And so in here, this is where earlier we put our markets into our main section under our profile. This is where you put in what those markets are. And so for me, I've got, McDonough, Noonan, Coweta, Fayette, Rockdale, Butts, that kind of stuff. And so if I wanted to see how the market is running in Noonan kind of thing, I can do that. And it will give, show me, viewing 229 of 229 properties. It shows me what's going on. Now, if I click here in the middle, I can create a neighborhood report, I can create a market activity report, or I can search inside this area. And it's all right here on my main screen. I'm not going to confuse you by doing those right now, but we'll actually go over doing all that later. But this is just, it's kind of like a really quick, easy, fast search, what's going on, what's happening. And so in Noonan, I can see that right now, that there's 229 properties in Noonan, 39 are for sale, 7 are for lease. There's been 35 price changes. I got 70 pending and 64 closed. So Noonan is like a lot of our other markets. We need more inventory, don't we, guys? I mean, my goodness, it is crazy what's going on these days. Now, underneath there, so if you have any listings, so we added one of our listings under me. I don't normally keep listings and do it under this kind of thing, but I did add one so we'd be able to show it. And so if you have any kind of listings or previous listings, you can, those will be listed here. We'll automatically pull that up and you can click on that and it will automatically pull up the status of the of your property and kind of give you a quick update, which we'll go back to that in a minute. So sorry. Let's go back. So the other thing under here, under my properties, if you have any, you can view any kind of the saved properties that you have. You can also view any of your recent searches. You can also pull up any of the reports that are ready. And also you're able to make notes on all these properties kind of thing. And so you can see any of your recent searches, or you can look up under saved searches if you wanted to see anything that you have searched. And then at the very bottom of the page down here is where you can go to the Facebook group. You can get help again, anytime, anywhere. And then I have the on-demand training. So this is just more training. So, there is a ton of ways to get support, to find the help that you need. There's, like I said, they actually have real live people answer phones and answer questions and things like that, which makes it pretty handy. So there really is no excuse to be like, I don't know what's going on. So if you wanted to, I want to kind of show you how the shortcuts work really quickly before we jump in too much in here. And so first thing that we're going to do is we're going to go over. So we'll pick one. Let's search using a map. So if I click that shortcut, it pulls up and we got this handy dandy little purple box kind of thing. It says, get started. Follow the on-screen instructions. So, okay, show me. And so what it's going to do is it's going to say, start by clicking research. You click research. Next, it says, click my map search. Hit map search. Seriously, I could train my Greyhound to do this if I was willing. Then you want to come in, it says, put in a zip. So I'm going to put in 30253. So, all right. And says, oh, I got too many results. So, okay, show me. And then every time that you do this, it's going to tell you every step that you need to do next and how you're going to find that information. And so it's going to go through and say, you can zoom in and zoom out the map here. You can recenter yourself on the map by clicking here, all the way through. So this thing literally walks you through step by step, each one of these. And if you're like, okay, I'm getting sick of this, you just hit the little X in the corner and it stops it. You can take it over from there kind of thing. So, you can see anything happening and it walks you all the way through. So I'm just kind of clicking through here just to kind of get us through so you can kind of see. And so, once again, so it just kind of gives you the overview, the basics of what you need to do. And then once you're done, you can either turn it off or you'll finish on that. With pulling the data and the information that you like. So again, the shortcuts are there to be a big help for you, and hopefully they can be. Now, if you are like, okay, I'm good, I don't need those silly shortcuts. See, on a lot of the pages, you'll see the little 3 dots. So they're on several places, you'll see 3 dots. And so if you just take and click on the 3 dots and hit collapse card, now it's not taking up as much room, so you have other room for other information. But for our purposes today, we'll leave that bad boy opened up, and then everybody will be able to see that kind of thing. So this is kind of our overview of RPR and kind of how we're, how everything is, how it looks, the whole 9 yards. Does anybody have, I'm going to take a quick moment. And if you have any questions, if you'd like to put those into Q&A, I'll be glad to answer any of those before we dig in a whole lot deeper. Bueller? Okay, we're good. All right, let's keep moving then. All right. So first thing I want to do is I want to go through and let's start jumping into some of the meat here kind of thing. So we're going to start off in research. Okay. And so research is where I would say the majority of what you're going to do in RPR is going to start right here under the research tab. So we're going to go through several of these. Actually, we're going to end up going through all of these here. I'm going to, well, let's just start jumping through here. So first thing I want to kind of do is I want to do a neighborhood search with you. So we're going to end up going through all these, but it's just easier if you go with my flow here. So we're going to start off with neighborhood search. So here we can search by neighborhoods. And so once you pull that up, it pulls this up here. And so I'm, here in my area, there's you can pull up almost any subdivision. So I'm going to pull up Lake Haven in Henry County, Georgia. And so Lake Haven in Henry County, Georgia is I'm going to put that in. And now this is going to give, so, let's say that I want to do, I'm going to do comps. I'm looking for property, that kind of stuff. I got a client that is interested in Lake Haven. Well, I can pull up all the neighborhood data just by putting in the neighborhood. So right here, so we're going to kind of go down through here. And so this is Lake Haven. And so first we have the summary tab. And so, this is going to say that the median value in there is 352,000. In the last month, it went up another 3%. Overall, it's about roughly 9% up, which is, we're seeing that kind of across the board, almost double digits to double digits, somewhere between 8 and 14% property value increases over last year. So as you go down over here, it's going to show you, the general basic map of where it is. It also shows you overall neighborhood values near the subject neighborhood. So like I can see that, this neighborhood here is running 384, 217. Now, if I wanted to, I can click on all those, because also right here below this map, it shows all the nearby neighborhoods. So it's going to say English Oaks. So if I wanted to go look at English Oaks, which is just south of there, I can click on that and I'll get the exact same report for English Oaks kind of thing. I can look at Wilshire Park, Brookhaven, the whole 9 yards. I can look at any of these other neighborhoods in exactly the same way as I'm looking at Lake Haven right now. So I can also do the same thing just by clicking on them here in the map, but I don't want to do it because then it takes us forever to go back and forth. All right. So down here, it's going to show us, now here's where it starts getting really cool, some of our data kind of thing. So we can see so the green bar is Lake Haven, but I can also see what's happening over on Henry County, what's happening in Georgia, and what's happening in the US. So it's giving me information kind of across the board where Lake Haven is compared to the nation, the state, the whole 9 yards. I can also break this down and see how it's doing all years, or over the last 3 years, or over the last year kind of thing. You can see that there's a slight uptick, a little bit more than in the nation kind of thing. So, but you can look at it however you want to kind of thing. And you can also turn any of them off. I wanted to turn off, USA, you just toggle it and now it's off kind of thing. So now it shows median sales price versus sales volume kind of thing. And so again, you can see how that's looking on across the board. Again, this is now we're getting into some of that information overload I was telling you about earlier kind of thing. You can see what the sales volume is running for the neighborhood. You can see the median listing price versus listing volume right here. If you keep moving down, you can see population of children by age group. So like here we have 52 toddlers, 140 elementary, 220 middle, and 142 high school. So if you had a client who's like, gosh, we really would love to have a neighborhood with a lot of kids. This one, well, are they, if our kids are middle school, there's a lot of middle school age children in this neighborhood kind of thing. You can also see, well, we're looking for a retiree neighborhood. This may not be the best choice for them, because you can see that, the largest, age group is from 35 to 60 is probably the biggest age group of people who live in the Lake Haven neighborhoods kind of thing. That's kind of your overview. If you'd like to go deeper, you just click on there's multiple tabs running across the top of on the neighborhood search. So if you hit housing, now we get into way more detail kind of thing. And so we can see the median estimated home value, both in Lake Haven, Henry County, Georgia, and the US, 12-month change, median list price 1 month change, all the way down, percentage of renters versus owners. You can see that there's 96% owners versus only 4% renters. Sometimes we have some of our buyers who are like, I don't want to live in a neighborhood that has a lot of VRBOs and things like that. Well, there aren't very many in Lake Haven. That might be a good choice for them. And any information that it has on the neighborhood, it will go all the way down through there. Again, median price versus listing volume, and all that kind of information. Now we can move over, and under the people tab, of course, we have to be very conscientious about fair housing anytime that we're dealing in the people section and that kind of stuff, because we want to make sure that we aren't even, that there's no possibility of us even discriminating any way, shape, or form. But these are still information that we have. So we just have to be very careful what we do with it kind of thing. And so you can see the population density per square mile, median age is 46. You can go through and see all the education levels that they have. You can see that, even though it looks like high school graduates in Lake Haven are actually lower, you can see that there's a lot more people that have a college education in Lake Haven than the county and the state and that kind of stuff. Population of children, again, adults, households with children, we have, how many are households with children, without. All the different occupation categories. You can see where a lot of, you can see that education, there's a lot of teachers obviously living in Lake Haven kind of thing. And then it votes 51% Republican, 48% Democrat. So pretty even Republican and Democrat in there. Economy, we'll pull on that tab now. And again, if you were ever wondering if Big Brother's watching, yes. Okay, you have access to it. So, the fact that we can figure out how red or blue a neighborhood is, to me, is crazy kind of thing. And so we can see what the income per capita is and the median household income. You can see that the median household income in Lake Haven is substantially higher than Henry County, which is higher than Georgia, and even higher than, nearly double what the average income in the US is. So this is a fairly affluent neighborhood, that kind of stuff. You can see what the unemployment rate. They don't break unemployment rate down by the actual neighborhood kind of thing. And then under the quality of life tab, sorry, this one's coming up. Again, we have the spinny wheel of death. All right. It's thinking about it. So we'll be coming here in just a moment. So come on, baby. Now, once this gets done, we will create a report for this. And I want to show you how cool that looks and then what we can do with it. But first, I've got to do a little song and dance. So here we go. So now we are down to quality of life kind of thing. And so you can see that we have, I'm not sure why this is necessarily I'm not sure why elevation is a quality of life issue. I think I just didn't know where else to put it. You can see what the elevation, annual rainfall, annual snowfall, which is nothing because here in Georgia, we get some snow every 3 or 4 years kind of thing. And you can go through and see water, it has that average commuter time, how people get to work. Everyone here drives. What's our median temperatures, walkability? We're out here in the burbs, so our walkability scores are normally going to be pretty dismal out here in the burbs. All right, so once you go through and you know, what do you do with it? Well, if you hit the little create report button over here, now that's automatically going to take us into the reports tab. So it's be the same as we're in reports. So over here in reports, you know, we've already we pulled up a neighborhood report, so it's automatically going to open up and show me this neighborhood. It's going to toggle the neighborhood report. Now, if you'll click right here where it says view sample and you hit that, it's going to show you a sample report of how it looks. And it's going to kind of go through page by page like that and show you how it looks. Or you can do an auto slideshow. But one thing I am going to encourage you to do is at any time that you're getting ready to share information and send anything out, whatever you're choosing to do with it, hit this little plus button right here. Because the plus button is going to let you go in and decide and look at what do you want to go in and what do you want not to go in, what do you care about, and that kind of stuff. And so like right here, I'm on the neighborhood report. So I have some custom pages. We have a net sheet that we've used with clients, that kind of stuff. But I don't want the net sheet to go out with my neighborhood report. And then these are the report elements that are built in. So neighborhood housing stats and charts. And so if you see this little, if you put your mouse over the little eye, it will pull up a little picture to show you what that is going to look like. And so I can either leave it on or off. I can have housing stats and charts. I can have people stats and charts. I can have the economic data, and I can have the quality of life. Now I can also have RPR, and this talks about RPR in our data. And while I love RPR, I don't see a need to necessarily pimp them out. So I can also have public record and listing data in there if I want to. Now here, before we go any farther, and I could just hit run report, but I really want to come down here. And so I can come in here and I can include, if I want to send this to a particular person, I can put in, you know, hi, Bob, you know, Bob, you know, and then I can say, you know, here is the neighborhood. Well, if you could spell Lake Haven. And so now Bob is going to be able to see all the information. Now I can run it and either open it now or display it as PDF, or I could email this directly to Bob from here. But I'm just gonna run this report right here for me right now. And so now this will start off. And so now we start with another one of the, so now it says, hey, report generation in progress. Your neighbor report is currently generating Lake Haven and Henry County. And so all that is good. But now that doesn't mean that it's done. So if you come up here, you'll see that because I'm in the reports tab, I can see that this thing is, I have a neighborhood report generating, has 2 minutes remaining. And so I can't do anything with that right now. But I will as soon as that thing gets done. And once it gets done, it's going to do me a little ding dong, soup's ready kind of thing. And then we'll be able to go from there. But I'd like to show you some other cool things that we can do with it once that comes up right now. All right, while that is generating, I did have a couple of questions. So first one is, Pamela Freeman says, how's the school data input? Is it 100% accurate? All right, I think all information is going to be about what level of garbage in and garbage out it has. The school's information is really good. It is from great schools, and we will go through the schools tab here in just a minute, and I will show that to you as well. All right, let's see. Next one is, how does this benefit on-site agents? All right, well, there's a lot of different ways you can use this as an on-site agent, as far as market data, showing what's really going on in the area. You can pull this, of course, this neighborhood report right here, but as we go through, I think you'll see that there can be a lot of places where you can pull useful information that will help you on site, especially both on the marketing and on the research side. Neighborhood data, market data, that kind of stuff that can be very helpful for you out there. So, all right. Meta says, I'm not able to pull up certain neighborhoods. Now, here's the only tricky thing in neighborhoods is sometimes, ding dong, soup's on. So sometimes with the neighborhood, you have to fiddle with it a little bit. So you got to put in, don't get too fast. So like if you'll start typing slowly, it will a lot of times fill in, it will give you some options to choose from. You can also just pull in a local area and then you'll be able to find other neighborhoods in there. Sometimes you do have to finesse it on the neighborhoods a little bit. So, but you can normally work your way through it kind of thing. All right, so this is my Lake Haven in Henry County, Georgia neighborhood report. This is how it prints out. And so so this report's going to pull up. It shows an outline of the neighborhood, has me, my information, you know, my picture, all that kind of jazz. And then it goes through and it has all my housing stats and charts, median sales volume, neighborhood report, people charts, more of the neighborhood report. Again, everything that we just looked at is all in here kind of thing. Economic stats, all the way through until the very end. So not bad, you know, really great information to share, especially if somebody's like new to moving here. They're trying to understand what's really going on, you know, really showing what's going on with folks in. But now the other cool thing is, like, let's say that I'm prospecting and I'd like to find some sellers in Lake Haven, for example. Well, I can come here and see that. So now all these are any kind of market reports that we've done. So if I come down here and hit, I can download the report, I can delete the report, or I can post it on Facebook. So I could come and start sharing information about this neighborhood directly on Facebook. And so you come in here, you can put in there what you want. You can put your description, Lake Haven, Henry County, and then post that out there for everyone to see. And boy, don't you look like you know what's happening in the market. And how much work was that? Not at all. Easy peasy, not hard, not difficult kind of thing. So pulling up neighborhood reports is really very, very easy. There's not a lot to it, but you know, you get to choose what you want and how you want it and where you want it to be kind of thing. So let's go back. So we're going to go back to home. So that is our neighborhood report. So let's go back to research. And now we had a question earlier about schools. So let's search for schools kind of thing. So it's thinking about it here again. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to look for, let's look for Union Grove since I know where Union Grove is a school district for that kind of thing. And so I can come down here and so I'm going to search for schools. And so let's say, so I can see where this is Union Grove High School. So I can click on Union Grove High School and that's going to show me a map of where it is. If I click on it, it will be an interactive map. We're not going to right now, but I could. And so it's going to say it's a public high school, where it is kind of thing. It's going to show, where, probably the other closest schools to it. This is Union Grove. This is the other school. What the enrollment is, how many students, what the average GPA is, the teacher grades, the average teacher salaries, which is the same because it's Henry County schools. But I can also come up here and I can say, what are the listings that are in the Union Grove School District? That's very handy and very easy to do because a lot of times, we have folks who are like, I want to be in Union Grove or Ola or this school district or that school district. I can just click here and pull up all that. The other thing that we can do is I can either come here in the right-hand corner and hit create report, or right here, I can hit create report. And so the create report kind of thing, it pulls up a school report. And just like on the other ones, I can hit view sample and it will show me how it looks and does all that. That's kind of boring, but hit the little plus sign again and decide what all you want to go on the school report, because it will automatically give you nearby properties for sale and about RPR if you want it to kind of thing. And so you can, so right now it's going to give us a summary, and then it's going to have any kind of reviews. We'll look at those, and it'll show us any nearby schools. Now, if I don't want it to show nearby schools, I just turn it off. If I don't want it to show nearby properties, I can turn that off. And then you can leave RPR, about RPR and our data on there if you want to. Now, what about, like, I don't want private schools, or if I don't want to see any charter schools around there, and then you can show any of those others kind of thing. So let's do that. And again, I could make this personalized or not. So I'm just going to go ahead and hit run report. Oh, display now helps you have the right button, Alan. So, and just like before, it's going to start generating. And so as soon as that comes up, I will show you exactly how the school report looks. But you can see how easy that was to pull up a school report for any school. You can pull it up for elementary, middle, and high school. So as usual, we are sitting here waiting diligently while this thing goes through and thinks about it. So let's see, I wonder if I have a school report in here already. Maybe I can show you another one. Oh, I do have one. So here's a school report for Union Grove High School. So let's pull this one up. And so this is Union Grove High School. And so you can see that it has, again, it shows what the area where Union Grove High School covers. It has all of my information because I'm sharing this out, kind of thing. And then now I get, oh, that's where it was telling me that the other report is ready now. And so I can overall see where the school is, the enrollment, all the same basic information kind of thing. So down here on the bottom, right here, where it says, facts and proficiency scores are provided by Niche, which compiles all the scores, community reviews, and other data across schools in the U.S. Ratings for schools are based on the most recent available facts for each school district compiled by the U.S. Department of Education. And then there's also, if there's private school, that kind of stuff. And so they update this quarterly. So this is going to get updated for each one of the schools 4 times a year. And all the data is either pulled by the Department of Education or by this company called Niche, which goes through and pulls all this information kind of thing. Now, the other cool thing is it also has community reviews. So if anyone post anything, good, bad, or ugly, it's going to put in here what's going on. So you can see, this is an alumni, this is a senior, these are posts of people that actually went there, and it's going to be like having reviews, like having, any kind of, Amazon reviews for a school kind of thing. And that's going to show any of the other nearby schools near Union Grove, how far away they are, what other ratings that those schools have, that kind of stuff. You can go all the way through. Some will show whether if you have private school, toggle on or off, like this one is. So you can see Eagles Landing Christian Academy. That one's on there because I didn't turn off private schools. And then if I left it clicked on, this will show me any of the nearby listings automatically in that school district. I didn't do anything other than run a school report, and this automatically shows me any kind of active or pending listings. You can turn on anything that you want. And so this data is accurate as of the moment that I pulled it, because this is pulling out of the MLS. And so if this is listed in the MLS right now, that's what this is. This isn't days old data. RPR updates itself every 5 minutes, I believe. So it is always current information. So you can share active, pending, closed, anything that you want. And then at the end, it always has this RPR, about RPR. It talks about where the data came from and the whole 9 yards. It just gets a bit much to me. So I normally turn that off, but that's a you call. If you'd like for that to be shown, then you go for it. That's up to you. But super easy to do, very helpful to do. It's just whether or not you want to do it and how you want to do it. And again, just like on the others, how awesome would it be to be able to come in here and post a school report for all the schools in your area. You know, if even if once a week you went on Facebook, and every Tuesday, you know, that's Education Day, where you post a different school report along with available properties. Hey, contact me if you'd like to see any of these new homes available in Union Grove School District or whatever school district, that kind of thing. So it can be very, very helpful. And I love, this is one of the new features, is that we can post things onto Facebook. And boy, that really helps us kind of get our, show our expertise, show our knowledge, show what's really going on out there, and be able to kind of strut our stuff a little bit, if, you know, not trying to get too self-promotion-y, but hey, it's all about relationships, and it's all about showing our stuff. The more we know, the more we're worth. So, all right, let's keep moving here. So let's jump back into research. So we've gone through and we've done a neighborhood search and we've done a school search. Let's do a residential market activity search and see what that looks like, because this is another great one that we can share out that kind of helps us show our information. So I can, depending on the area and how big of a market you want to. So let's say I wanted to just do 30253, which is you know, so that's one of our zip codes here in the McDonough area. I live here, so that's just the handy one for me. But you just go in, plug in your zip. Now it's going to tell me, and so what this is going to do is this is going to give me, it's going to say that there's 279 properties in here. And so, you know, I can come in here and I can change the type to include for sale, for lease, new listing, price change, whatever I wanted. I can also do single family condo. I can put in manufactured homes. I can narrow this by price. I can also narrow it by bedrooms and bathrooms if I want to. But we're going to be doing a market activity report. So I'm not interested in doing any of that. But if you don't want to have single family included in your market activity report, then turn them off, kind of thing. Or if you want to have land and lot included, make sure that those are in there, because it's going to base that report on the type of properties that you select. Now I can come in here and I can remove the boundary. I can set a completely different boundary. I can draw a boundary with the draw over here in freehand, just a certain area, if that's what I chose to do. So over here on the map, I can you know, zoom in, zoom out. I can recenter it. I can also view the map if I'd like to see how it looks from above or from the road, or if I want to see where the hills and valleys are, I can do it that way, kind of thing. Oh, let's see. There we are. Get back to where I was. So it just kind of depends. Now I can also come in and I can draw freehand a radius, a polygon, or a box. I can also check driving, any points of interest. I can also show the schools on here. You know, I can add any kind of data layers that I want to. We're not going to get into that right now. So, but really what I want to show you is we're going to be pulling a market activity report. So inside this map area, click. Now, when you do that, once you click inside this area, it's going to say, I can either search this area, I can create a market activity report, or I can create a neighborhood report. Now, we've already done the neighborhood report, and this is too big for a neighborhood report. We're going to create a market activity report. And so, bam. All right. Now, again, the gnomes at RPR are starting to compile the data. And so now it automatically takes us directly to our reports tab. And so just like before, we want to come in here, hit the little plus sign, and so we can turn on or off. And so what this is going to give us is a market snapshot, along with estimated home values, sales price, list price, any kind of, you know, just overall data, and then, you know, about RPR and our data. And so once you have all that, you can say, I want to see any kind of changes in the last month, or I can say the last 3 months, last 6 months, whatever I want. So let's do the last 3 months. Let's do that. And I want to include for sale, but I don't want for lease properties. I want new listing, closed. I want pending, distressed, expireds, all that. I can choose if I want single family, condo, co-op, any of that kind of thing. I can put in just the price ranges if I wanted to. I'm not going to. Excuse me, but you could if you wanted to see, like the reason you put in price is like you want to know how the estate market is, how homes over $1 million, what does that market look like? We'll put in the price range. If you want to see what the market is for homes under $150,000, both of those, if you wanted to, you could see how that market is. And, if you want to see what the 3-bedroom, 4-bedroom home market is, that kind of thing. So in there, so once you do all that, you want to come in here and then you hit run report. And again, this is not a, you see how much work I've had to put into that. Yes, it's generating. And so it is generating that report right now while we talk. And here in just a moment, we'll get that one will come up for us, and then we'll go through there and I'll show you how that report looks. All right, Keisha said, how did I get to generate the report? All right, I came in here and I hit market activity. I opened this up, and that way I could choose anything that I wanted to. Once you do that, there's this little blue box down here, and honestly, it's there all the time. At any point, you just hit run report, and it'll run report. I just like to pick and choose how I want my report to look. Now, you can also scroll all the way down to the bottom of the page and then hit run report. Okay, no, before that. Okay, so I'm sorry, I have another question about how did I get here? So, okay. All right, let's back up while that's going. So first I went to research, and then I went to residential market. Okay, we'll open that up in a second. So I went to research, residential market activity search. So just gonna think about it. And so that brings me back to this main screen. So maybe I went a little bit too fast, so sorry about that. And so this is market activity search. And so all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put in, well, McDonough 30253. You can put in any zip code, you can put in cities, whatever size market that you want to do. Once you get all that together, it's going to pull up a map and it's going to show you all this information. Simply click inside the highlighted section of the map. Click here, and then it gives you the choice to do either search this area, create a market activity report, or create a neighborhood report. I wanted to create a market activity report, and then that automatically takes us to that report for this section. Now, while we were doing that, that report downloaded. And so here is what the market activity report. So this is a market activity report from McDonough, Georgia, 30253. Shows an overall map of the area. Again, my information. And then it starts showing us some heat maps kind of thing. And so what heat maps are, these are just, it just kind of shows, like you can see that, the home values, what the median price range are, and how it rates overall in the county. And so, where it's dark, that's Eagles Landing Country Club, where the property values are a little bit higher, that kind of thing. And so you'll just see what where they're, just a very easy visual to see overall in the zip code, what is the median estimated home value, what's the change over the last month, last quarter, 12 months, the whole 9 yards. So you can see that over the last 12 months, property values in this zip code have gone up by 12.9%. And over the last 2 years, it's up about 16%. This is another, moving on down. So this is the 12-month change in estimated value, and you can see where it's gone up and where it's gone down. You can see overall, Henry County is really, really blue. There's always going to be some areas that go down. Now you can show, this shows a concentration of distressed properties, where in this zip code are the majority of distressed properties. And if you were to zoom in and lay that over, most of the time you'll see that associated with particular neighborhoods or areas kind of thing. Moving on down, you can see what the median sale price is. Again, this is just a ton of information. What the average list price is. In here, it also has now we get into more useful information. How many new listings, how many pending, how many closed, how many distressed going on, and that kind of stuff. And then it shows a list of it's only showing 10. That's what I have it set to right now. Only 10 of those. Otherwise, this report goes for miles. Okay, this thing would just absolutely blow up if I had put all that information in here. But I only put in 10 just to kind of show what's going on. Most of the time, if you were going to share this out to folks, you wouldn't put a lot of the closed data on there. And so next we have all the pendings, and then we at the end, just like before, this is the tab with all the other information on there. So just like before, I can go in and turn on, only use parts of this if I choose to. All right, I can choose to only use parts of this. And I really do find that best to do, because this report, it's 20 pages roughly. No one on Facebook is going to look at 20 pages. But if I did this market report for this zip code and only included one small section, and along with a blurb to reach out to me, I can help you find the home, or I can, I'm the market expert here kind of thing. That makes it really helpful, because once you generate that, you click here, post it on Facebook. You can also, email that out, send it out, do the whole 9 yards. So it allows you to do a lot of things with that. So I'm going to stop and jump into some of the questions. So I think we got you taken care of, Keisha. Mike says, what's the definition of distressed property? The definition of distressed property is just like with anything, it's about garbage in and garbage out. If it is listed in the MLS as being distressed, then that is how it will show. But we all know that that most of the time our banks, most of your asset managers and most of the REO property does not want it listed as distressed anymore. So there's a small percentage, but it's either going to be short sale or it's going to be listed as anything under the distressed value or distressed codes is where those will come up. All right. Everyone says, I keep missing how you get to the Facebook post tab. All right. So right now, if you click on reports, so I'm in the reports section here. So this is where all the reports are. Anything that that we've done a report on already, as soon as it's generated, I have the ability to go in here, and there's a drop-down box underneath every one of the reports. So these are all the reports that I've done recently. These are the ones that we did earlier. So like here's our market activity report, here's our neighborhood report, here's the school report we just did. If I wanted to send that school report out, underneath there is a drop-down box. If I click on that, I can either download the report directly, I can delete it, or I can post it to Facebook, or I can rerun it. If I want to get new data on there. That's the other cool thing. You can rerun reports and it will pull today's data, today's listing, that kind of stuff. And you didn't have to pull everything up all over again. But if I just hit post on Facebook, it's automatic. Now you do have to be logged into Facebook on whatever device you're using. So if you're on your desktop or your laptop, you want to be logged into Facebook. And then once you are, then you can come in, you can write something about it, schools, woo, whatever. You can put all that in there, and then you can put that out onto your news feeds, your story. You can do it on anything that you really want to. Now, I'm not going to post that, but that's where you find that. All right, everyone says, when I click reports, it is a drop-down menu. I don't see the same screen you're showing. Wow. You don't get a drop down that has that on there? That one's a new one. I'm going to say that's going to be a question for RPR, because this is all the ones that I have. So if you're in the reports tab, you should be able to get there kind of thing. So even if you click on reports, you can see, like any of the reports that you pull up, it should be able to show up there kind of thing. So, because if any of the reports you open, they should go there, and then you should be able to, on all of these, you should be able to download it, open it, close it, the whole 9 yards, that kind of thing. So, all right, there we go. So, okay, well, we see it now. So that's a win. That's a big win. All right. All right, let's see. Teresa, when we do neighborhood search, can we compare neighborhoods side by side, or do we need to do reports separately? Right, as of right now, there's been talk about that coming, but right now it is going to be separate reports for separate neighborhoods. Yes. All right. Let's see. I'm trying to clean up my Q&A so I don't get behind. All right, so let's keep moving here. So let's go back in here. We're going to go back home, and then we're going to go back into our marketing tab one more time. And so I'm sorry, not marketing. We're going to go back into the research tab one more time. So before we get into the residential side, I'm going to jump into commercial site selection and commercial map insights really quickly and give you a quick overview on here. So commercial site selection, if you click on that, and it thinks about it for just a moment. So this is where you help to, if you've ever had commercial clients who are like, oh, well, I want to open a business and I'm not sure where to do it, kind of thing. And so like, let's say that we have somebody, 30253, we're going to do that. I could also just go and select an area on a map and highlight it, kind of thing. And then I can try and select an attribute. I can see, let's see who they are, what they do, where they live, what they buy. So let's say, what do they buy? And let's see, dining out. Let's say I have somebody who wants to do, they want to own a restaurant. And so I want to do all dining out and hit OK. And so I could add more criteria, but just for the, today and not getting crazy, then you just hit run analysis. And so again, the gnomes start working. And well, hopefully it will stop spinning in just a second and I'll show you, kind of thing. And so now what this gives us here is it gives us our analysis panel, kind of thing. And so we can do some fine tuning and adjustments, kind of thing. And so I can come in and say, you know what, I don't want average. I really want to see where a lot of people dining out, kind of thing. And so I can see that if you look in this section, so now it took my map section of 30253, and I scroll this over to where are the most people dining out in Henry County. And so it says that this section here is going to be my closest match for where the greatest number of people live that dine out. So if I was wanting to open a restaurant, wouldn't it be good for me to be near this area? Yes, kind of thing. It sure would, kind of thing. And so, sometimes, so if you look, it'll even show you exact neighborhoods and how they rank and how they work. And so you can do that with a lot. So, you can go in and search for dry cleaners or any kind of business that where those business owners are looking for possible for clients, and what are those attributes that those clients have, whether they have kids, don't have kids, and because there really is a lot of things that you can do. I can also come in and just draw a different area, kind of thing. So, I could use, I could create a new area in here just by, selecting areas on the map, that kind of thing. So it's just very easy. This is one that is super easy to play with and be able to just kind of get some good insights on there, kind of thing. And so you can see down here, also showed that was, Eagles Landing Country Club has, the best area for dining out, the neighborhood that has the highest amount of people that dine out in it. So hopefully that made sense for you, kind of thing. You can also go into the commercial map insights, and this one gets a little bit more, gives you a lot of information. I mean, tons of information. So again, you can come in and you can enter places. So again, I'm just going to do 30253 again, since we're already in here, kind of thing. And so it puts that in there. And so I can look up, if it's for sale, if it's for lease, I can do all those kind of things. But really what we're looking for is to try and see what are our insights and, what can we, what are all the data layers, kind of thing. And so I can look and see, like, what is the average family size if I wanted to. And now that's going to show me what the average family size is throughout this area, kind of thing. I can also, or I can, population of, who are tweens, population in early adulthood. Sometimes our business owners want to know, you know, highly educated versus less educated comparison. You do that, and again, you can see where the most educated versus the least educated. Depending on what that client is really looking for. A lot of times we see, dry cleaner wants to be located near people who have a lot of college degrees, because those people tend to use dry cleaners more, kind of thing. You can also break out and look at estimated home values, change in values, average list price. You can see, and all this will actually open up all these heat maps that we were looking at earlier. And so you can just scroll around. It's going to show you all those different areas, how it's breaking, and you're able to pull all those different data layers out. In addition, you can also pull up flood zones, which is really nice to have. You can see what the flood zones are in a particular area. You can see where they rank, and the flood zone data really does come from the National Flood Zone Database, kind of thing. So they pull all that information, and that can be very useful to help. You can drill it all the way down, if that's what you wanted to see exactly where all the different flood plains are, where it ranks versus the lot size and the whole 9 yards. All right, so we are at about the halfway point. It is 10:57, roughly 10:56. So we're going to take a 15-minute break. I need to go potty, and I bet a bunch of you guys do too. So we're going to stop. So we will come back at, let's call it at 11:10. So you guys get 14 minutes to go take a quick little potty break, do that kind of thing. I will, and then we are going to jump back in at 11:10. If you guys have any questions, or if there's been anything that has popped into your mind that you'd like to shoot at me, please put it in the Q&A section, and then we will jump back in here in just a minute. All righty, folks, welcome back. So we're getting ready to get started here again. Let's see. I hope everyone had a decent little break. I love and hate teaching this class over Zoom, because on one hand, it's really, really cool in that you have access to my screen the whole time, and you can see exactly what I'm doing. And as I go through, the only negative is it's hard to get any kind of feedback. So I hope that this is being useful for you, that you're getting a lot out of it, but it just makes me a little bit disconnected. I normally teach live, and I really like live, but with, these times we can't do that. So I hope that this is coming across, but it can also be brutally boring. So I'm trying hard not to make this the most boring experience you've ever had. So anyway, let's see. I do have a question. So Mike says, how do I get in, access to RPR? So in order to have access to RPR, yes, you do have to be licensed in the state. And you do have to have access to an MLS. But really, it comes down to, are you a realtor? Because if you're a realtor, then you have joined a local board. Because if you're a member of your local board of realtors, then you're a member of your state board of realtors, and you're a member of the National Association of Realtors. So like me, my home board is Metro South Association of Realtors. My state board is Georgia Association of Realtors, and the national board, of course, is National Association of Realtors. This is a realtor member benefit. Once if you are a member of that local board, one thing that you'll get what's called a NARDS number, NRDS ID. And so that's what you'll use in order to log in. So I hope that makes sense for you, Mike. If not, shoot me an email or a text, and I'll try and elaborate a little bit more. All right, well, let's kind of jump back in. So we kind of danced on the commercial for just a quick minute, but now we're gonna jump into some property searches, and kind of getting into, let's start looking at property here. How about that? That's really what we're all here for. That's going to be the big push for us. So let's jump into. So let's go back into research. And let's do property search, okay? So property search is going to be one of those, thinking about it, that we do quite a bit. And so I'm going to pull up a property, and you're welcome to pull it up with me, kind of thing. So as soon as you start typing a number, it's going to start filling in. So I want to pull up a property. I have a lot of times we get like hey, I'm interested in selling my property. I'd like to know what it's worth. Da da da. And so a lot of times we just want to go check out property. We want to look at property. And so I'm going to pull up. So we're going to pull up 209 Lee's Trace in McDonough, Georgia. And again, please don't reach out to 209 Lee's Trace. These are not, I don't know that these are people buying or selling. That's not what it is. There's nothing to see there, if that makes any sense. Okay. But I want to show you what happens when you pull up a property here in RPR, and it gives you tons of information. So first thing I want to do is I want to show you that. So up here, it's we'll go through all these history charts, a whole 9 yards. But first thing, it's going to show you the address. It's going to show you where on the map. If you click on the map, it's going to open over an interactive map. Also up here on the map, if it has recent MLS photos, you can click on that. Right now it has a street view, but if I hit overhead, this is what it looks like from above. And so I can see that this house doesn't have a pool. The one next to it does, but these folks don't. Kind of thing. And so I'm able to look at that, and if there's multiple pictures, I can see that. Moving down, down here, then we have the property summary. And so this property has an RVM. Sometimes you'll see some properties will have what's called an RVM, and some will have what's called an AVM. An RVM is a Realtor's valuation model. An AVM is an automated valuation model. And so an AVM is less accurate than an RVM is. And you can see what the RVM confidence score is. It's got 4 out of 5 stars, which is okay. 5 is better, of course. But with an RVM, the difference is if it doesn't have enough information to be really confident about the value, it'll have an AVM, and those are no better than its estimate. But with an RVM, you can also go in and refine value, and then we can also pull up comps. And I'll show you how to do that here in just a minute. But I want to go through and show you, the whole page summary first and all that kind of stuff. And so I can see it's a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, 1,800 square foot, when it was last sold, the price, and then, in here, I can also go in and make any kind of changes if I need to. Now, this won't change tax records. This won't do anything like that, but it will affect my RVM values on there, because that means I know additional information. So, if I want to put in here anything on there, I can. I can also come in here and hit the little plus sign, and I can put in notes, needs paint, whatever it is, kind of thing. I can see what schools that it has along with the rating of those schools. I can see any of the interior features in there. I can see the roof type, construction type, where it is. Well, that's weird, but normally it'll tell you what the flood zone is, kind of thing. For some reason, it's still thinking, okay, so it's X unshaded, which means that it's low risk, kind of thing. I can see who the owner is of the property. I can also see what his mailing address is, and that's a real easy one to let you know. If their mailing address is different than the actual address of the property, then that's going to be an absentee owner. Show you the parcel numbers, that kind of stuff. Any of the tax information in here. You can see all the tax assessment information, all the deed records, every time it's been sold. I can also see the mortgage records in here, kind of thing. Now, one thing that you can also see, like if you want mortgage records, like if I wanted to, I can scroll across and look at multiple mortgage records that have been had on this property, kind of thing. So I'm able to check on, not that we need to, but it's there. So if you wanted to see all that. The other thing I want to show you is this right column. Sorry if I'm making you dizzy by going through here, but this right column has some other information. So we're going to go into evaluate in just 1 second, but then, you can, in here, you can, if you have any notes, if you take photos, or if you want to do a seller's net sheet. Most of the time we'll do those on the RPR mobile, but you can carry across on here as well. And then it has information about this home based on the zip code, about where it is and median list price, that kind of stuff. Or you could go and hit more about this neighborhood, and it's going to open up the neighborhood report and start a neighborhood report for that property. Now, one other thing you'll see in here under additional resources is analyze property. And this is if you are, if there is a, or if you're dealing with an investor. So let's say that investors like, yeah, I'm interested in this property. Maybe I want to lease it, maybe I want to flip it. If you hit this evaluate, analyze property, it comes with a free account in here. And so what this will do is it will give you a long-term hold analysis, multifamily, residential flip analysis, or land development analysis. So all you do is just come in here, continue, and it will automatically open up this page, which will give you, I can see what the amortization schedule is, what the debt service is, all the facts and figures. And so as an investor, I can see, what, if it's levered or unleveraged or leveraged, what is the cash on cash? I can see the full leverage analysis. I can see cash flow. I can see purchase and sale information on here. And I can also send out any of these reports that I could then send to my investor. And this didn't cost anything. And honestly, it is easy peasy lemon squeezy to do. And it will really help showcase what you can, kind of the additional values that we bring in working with realtors, kind of thing. And so again, that's just if you're looking for that. But all this is on the public report in here. Now, let's say that I want to show you how that you refine value. Now, RVM, this is a realtor's valuation model. So it's based on you and your market knowledge and your knowledge of a particular property, because you may have additional facts and figures that will weigh on the value of this property. And so you can come in here and hit refine value, especially if you're going to send a property report to a client. So if you hit refine value, it's going to open up the RVM estimate, which hopefully it's doing quickly, but we're in process of waiting. So let's see. While that's spinning, Maria says, I want to know if there's a payment to get into this program and how much. No, there is no cost for this program so long as you are a realtor. If you're a realtor, then there is no cost for RPR at all. Now, if you're a real estate professional, then there is no access for you to RPR. You have to be a realtor to have access to RPR. All right, and we are still on the spinny wheel right now. Sorry about that, folks. Sometimes we just gotta sit here and struggle through it. So all that is coming up right now. I just feel like I gotta do something to keep you entertained while we have the spinny wheel going on. All right. So now, also, by the way, if you, while that is coming up, if we come down here and make any changes on the property facts tab, that will change the realtor's valuation model, the RVM value for this house. So right now it's 217,970, and really all that it's opening up is this same thing right here. So let's say they finished the bonus room over the basement. They added 200 square foot, so it's 1998 square footage kind of thing. So if you do that and you save it, it will update the RVM, because now as a realtor, you have additional information, then that will be pertinent and impact the value of the property kind of thing. Now, the RVM, if you go in and refine value, if it ever opens up at this point, then we will be able to slide back and forth on several different attributes of the property, condition, all those kind of things, to be able to update those prices kind of thing. So we are, let's see. Sorry, I am in limbo waiting on the spinny wheel. So we're gonna start it all over and see if it wakes up. So hopefully, can everybody still see me okay? I just want to make sure I didn't have an internet glitch. I'm gonna look for comments, anything? So yes. Okay, I see yeses. Thank you very much. So, okay, I just want to make sure that, we all love technology until it don't work. And then we're struggling. So I'm going to pull this back up. I apologize about the delay. And so we're going to try and pull that back up one more time. And hopefully it won't take as long as it did the first time, because I really am trying to show it to you. And we're like smoking the bandit. We got a long way to go and a short time to get there. So, no, there was doing that lease trace. And now I got something in my eye besides my finger. All right. And seriously, this is running slow right now. Sorry about that. And let's see, Miss Nancy, if you are on here as well, if you could see if there's other folks that need to get off things, because my internet is dragging and that is making life hard for the old man right now. So, yeah, okay, good. I can still be seen and heard. All right, well, we are in limbo here, waiting on my system to catch itself up. So I'll just keep rambling on and trying to show you more information. So, all right, well, Keisha, I see that yours is dragging as well. I'm sorry. So I don't know if it's RPR or if it's me, but it is definitely taking a little while, and that is no bueno. So, all right. So what we do have coming up, we are going to be going over, and we are going to be doing an additional property search along with a CMA. You can do CMAs in RPR, and they are great. I really like the CMAs in RPR. And part of one of the biggest reasons is it pulls data from, especially if you're in an area that has multiple MLSs. So like here in Atlanta, we have both FMLS as well as Georgia MLS. And if you pull, and it never fails, inside the compulsory areas in Atlanta, it doesn't have it. Inside the area may not have Georgia MLS properties in it, and outside of the area, it may not have FMLS properties in it. And so by pulling CMAs through here, you should be able to automatically pull data from both MLSs. Sorry, I'm rambling. So finally we popped up, and you can see that I added the 200 square foot, and boy, that raised our value up to 245,000. So now we have a refined value of 245. That may be a bit much. If you hit edit value or edit RVM or edit property details, that will give you even more information that you can then put into a sliding scale. So you can see how that pulled all that information, how as soon as we put in 1998 on the square footage, that it gave it a value automatically. Now, I'm not saying that's necessarily right off my cuff. I really feel, knowing that neighborhood is probably closer to 230 instead of 250, but we'll see where that ends up actually. So right now we are back to the spinny wheel because we are pulling up. I am trying to show you how you can refine the values. So that is coming up right now. Let's see. Ephraim says it does appear to be RBR. It took an extremely long time for me to pull up a property as well. So maybe it is them and not just me. So I apologize about that. I have no idea. But they did make, the recent change to RPR I really like those changes. It made things work out really good. But as with anything, this is a really recent update. It was done in the last 2 weeks, and they are working out a few more of the last moments kind of thing. All right, Miss Georgia says, I also belong to Northeast Georgia MLS. Does RPR also pull properties from Northeast Georgia MLS or any other? Yes, it should. You should be able to access, because Northeast Georgia MLS is a Realtor owned MLS in almost every one of those is part of it. So yeah, you should be able to go into the tab which has your like where your picture is kind of thing. You ought to be able to come in here under the profile section and be able to add. You just need your login, your username, and your password for that. And then you'll be able to add that property or add that MLS into RPR for you kind of thing. So let's see. Well, where are we here? All right, I'm going to have to try and come back to this one because it has taken too long. We're going to have to move on, but hopefully this thing will catch up and we can do the revised value again in a minute. Because it is just running crazy slow. So while that does it, let's go ahead and start pulling up. So let's see. Oh, yep, we have a comment that says, yep, I did see it was green, but I wanted to make sure. If it is green, then it is pulling data from that MLS. Yep, you're off to the races. All right, so let's go back here to do another, let's do another property search. And this time what we're going to do is we're going to pull up a property in, earlier today we pulled up a neighborhood called Lake Haven. And so we pulled up the Lake Haven neighborhood. And so now we're going to pull up a property in Lake Haven. And then I'm going to show you how to do some simple CMAs and be able to play with all that. So hopefully this thing wakes up, and as soon as we will. There we go. All right. So it is loading. Maybe all of us are on there at the same time and we're blowing her up. So this time I'm going to pull up, and again, I don't know any information about these properties that I'm pulling up. So please don't think that this is a great recruiting opportunity. I don't mean that at all. So we're going to pull 8210. Nollbrook Lane in McDonough, Georgia. So now that's going to pull up that same property. It's going to pull up a property like we did before. Now, the one that we did before, let's say, we were looking at it for an investor, that kind of thing. Now we're going to pull this property up and we're going to do a CMA. But first, we got to get all the data pulled together. So, and then I'm going to show you how to do a CMA in RPR. So hopefully that has us running hot and heavy. So, yep, Bonnie, I agree. We probably have too many folks logged into RPR because it is dragging. And so I hope that I'm not trying to make this go any slower than it already is. So I apologize. We are at a little bit of the, it's really not fair because RPR is such a cool program and such a great benefit that we have. And to get frustrated with it just frustrates me. I'm going to try and use frustrate 7 times in the same sentence. So anyway, it is coming up. And as soon as it comes up, we are going to try and pull up, well, not try, we're going to do a CMA on here as well. So, all right. Well, it's thinking about it. So we are going to pull up Nollbrook, which is in the Lake Haven neighborhood. And so we could go in and just search in that neighborhood and through the neighborhood search, but I'm going to show you how to use the mapping function a little bit. And so we will be drawing out the dimensions because sometimes some of our neighborhoods aren't in there. Sometimes they're smaller neighborhoods. Sometimes we have some neighborhoods that don't really have, oh, look at that. We have a bad gateway. Yes, it is definitely our RPR because it is, okay. Well, hopefully it, reset itself. Okay, so here we go. So we pulled up 8210 Nollbrook kind of thing. And so that gives us, again, we have the interactive map we can look at. Here's our property summary. Now, before when I said, this is one that we have a ton of historical photos. We have overhead, street, whole 9 yards. And I can even scroll through all those pictures if I want to. So there's a bunch of ways that I can see exactly anything about the property. Again, we can come in here, we can refine the value. We can also do a comp analysis kind of thing. We can go through and make any kind of changes that we know on the property, just like we did before. One thing that we didn't go on the last property, and I want to show you, is that across the top up here, I can see what's the history on this property. And so I can see any kind of sales and financing activity that have been had. Any prior sales transactions are in here. All of our tax information is in here. And on taxes, I can see what the taxes paid by every single year in through there. I can see any kind of mortgage records, and the same thing. I can scroll across, see all the different mortgage records in the past. I can see, like, back in 2015, this was a distressed sale kind of thing, and it was done at the courthouse. Not that it is now. I can see any kind of active historical listings for the property, those kind of things. It also give me, here we have charts. So that's coming up quickly. History came up really quick, so I'm hoping charts come up as fast. Yep, there we go. And so we can see what's going on. Estimated home values in that area, median sale price. A lot of the same data that we had looked at when we looked at the neighborhood information is in there. And if you hit the refined value tab, this is where we were going earlier on that other property kind of thing. Because in here is where we can come in and change any of these information, and we can come down here and refine the value by any kind of needed improvement, or we can come in here and say, well, the market conditions are hot or above average. We can move any of these sliders. And if we move any of these sliders, all that will adjust the value of the property. So we're going to do a CMA in just a second. Then you can also hit the neighborhood tab. Coming up. And if you'll remember the neighborhood report tab that we did earlier, or the neighborhood tab, or the neighborhood report that we did on here, that's what this is. This shows us everything that's on that neighborhood report right there. So we're gonna go back. All right, so now we're gonna come in here and so we can just hit CMA. And so on that CMA, we want to see, what are the other similar homes to the subject property in that neighborhood kind of thing. And so when you open up CMA, it's going to give you a couple of different options in here kind of thing. So I can come in and do a property and create a property report right there kind of thing. I do have, the whole property summary. Right now it's estimating at $370,000, $131 a square foot, has it for 2,800 square foot, built in 2001. Now, as you move down, it's going to ask you, select your analysis type. You can do a comparative analysis or a sales comparison analysis. And I'm just going to be real honest with you. The sales comparison analysis, unless you're an appraiser, is so much over the top, and it's going to ask you for a lot more information than really what you're prepared to give kind of thing. Like our appraisers all know, like what's the price difference to add a third car garage and that kind of stuff. They have the data and the information. They know how much more is a half bath in this neighborhood as opposed to a 2.5 versus a 2-bedroom. I mean, a 2-bathroom house in this neighborhood. What kind of a adjustment should we make? And so the sales comparison analysis is really, there's a lot of opportunity to make adjustments. And I'm just kind of shooting straight. I find that most realtors are not great at making adjustments. We may have really good market knowledge, but we're not great at adjustments. And so I find that the comparative analysis, using to build your value based on the comparables is, and when we're using the data and the information, and we kind of stay in our wheelhouse much more so. So I'm not saying that you can't use the sales comparison analysis. You can, but buckle up, Buttercup, because there's a whole lot of data that goes into that one. We are not going to be jumping into the sales comparison analysis today. We're just going to be doing a comparative analysis kind of thing. What's the difference? It just gives you a little video which talks about the difference between the two on there. So first thing it's going to have you do is go in and you're going to have to confirm the home facts. Now we did that earlier, but I can come in here and if you edit, it's just going to say, is all this information right? And to the best of my knowledge, no, most of the time it is. So, but if not, then make your adjustments and change it if you need to, kind of thing. Especially if we haven't been to the house, a lot of times we don't know. But if you do, put the information that you do know and how it is. After that, it's going to be search for comps. And so now is the next part where we have to find the comps that fits. So we're going to come in here and we're going to search for comparables. And so first thing we're going to do is, so we want to search an area for several properties. And so automatically that's going to open up this handy dandy little map here, right here. And so we have the ability to, and so you can use every type of property that you want. You can do, single family, whole 9 yards, but for our purposes, it's going to be a single family. I want to show active, pending. Well, I'd like to have active, under contract, and closed. Most of the time, we don't use withdrawn, expired, or canceled. We all know that they're expired. Expired is just another word for market rejected, which means it was too expensive. It was not priced properly. You can also exclude distressed properties if you'd like to. And then you get to say, how far back do you want your comps to go? Right now, it says that, my off market date is 9/12/2020. And, like if you're an appraiser, maybe, and I only want to go back 6 months, that can be good for you. Sometimes we want to go back farther. And so maybe I want this to go back to, I don't know, I'm just spitballing, 420 kind of thing. And so I need them to be at least 3 bedrooms, at least 2 bathrooms. And I want it to be between 21 and 3,600 square foot. Now that's what this system automatically fills out. But I got to be honest with you, I find that, our subject property is 2,800 square foot. So I really want to be closer to 2,500 square foot. And I'm okay going up to 36, but I want to be at least 2,500 square foot. It gives us some basic price ranges in there. You can tighten those up if you want. You can tighten up and change the year built if you want, that kind of stuff. So now you can come over here, and now we have our mapping function here. So and you can just take and drag the map around if you want. And so I can come up here and I can draw a shape. I can use a box, a radius, or a polygon kind of thing. And so if I wanted to, let me zoom out of this thing a little bit. So I can, move these things around a little bit if I want to. So I'm going to draw a polygon on here. I'm sorry if my eyes are old and crusty, but they just are what they are. So I'm going to come in here and I'm just going to kind of, so now there's a lot of ways that you can, I could just do the neighborhood report. I'm just kind of messing around in here, just trying to show you basically how it does. So then you hit search in this area, and now it's going to search all those parameters inside this area for properties. And so now I can reset the map. I can, change it all the way around, and I can, but once I do that, it's going to give me a list of comparables that I can do. So I'm going to, so right now I took everything off our list over here. And so what we're going to do is now we're just going to go down and we're going to decide which comparables that we want to use for our CMA. And it's very easy kind of thing. So first of all, this breaks it up into sections. So I have 16 sold properties underneath here to choose from. And then if I keep scrolling down, whoops, I have 12 for sale properties I get to choose from. And then if there's any pendings, then they would show up in there too. So we're going to go back up to the top of the list. And so this gives me the ability, I can select them or not select them based on, basically any of the details I have kind of thing. So let's see, we're going to go down through here. And so I can see that, anything I want to add to, I just simply check it and it is on this list right here. So now, if I don't want it, I just hit remove from comps and then ask me if that's what I want to do kind of thing. So like, I'm not going to do this one. This one was closed on public records and it didn't have a price. So there's no point in me having that property on there. I can't really use that anyway. And so as I go down through here, I'm going to see, like I've got, I can see what year it was built. If it has any kind of square footage, the price per square foot, that it's listed for. And so I can start looking at, see, you know, what's going on. So I can just go down and start adding all these comps to here that I want to use, kind of thing. So I can see that, you know, what the minimum square footages are. Anything I add moves over here onto this comp side. And so I would like for you to be a little bit more choosy than necessarily I'm just trying to show you the product more so than actually, like, again, I'm not really trying to do a CMA for this person, but or for this property. I'm just trying to go down through here. Because like normally as I'm going down through here, I know that, you know, this property is going to be in the mid to high sevens kind of thing is my feeling. But so I'm probably not going to take a 292 and I'm not going to take a 463 either, kind of thing, because neither one of those makes a lot of sense for this property. And because I wasn't paying that close of attention to the map, like this is not in that subject neighborhood, you know, these are newer construction ones, kind of thing. So, you know, but we also we will have a chance to kind of go through and edit and tweak those a little bit more. So these are my for sale comps in here, you know, for what I'm, you know, for what's actually listing. And so I may just pick a few of those. So we, you know, the ones that match up closest to my subject property, kind of thing. Now, once you do that, over here in this tab, this shows, you know, right now, I've got a range on these comps between $250,000 and $415,000, kind of thing. Now, 256, in my opinion, is not really a realistic price. Whoops. So I'm going to find that one, because somehow I checked one for 256, and that one doesn't make any sense. So, well, somewhere in here it says I do. All right, so once we have all the comps that we want in here that we are happy to use. By the way, if you click on any of these, it will show you the report, you know, the item for that property. I mean, it will show the full property breakdown for that comparable that you're looking at. So if I wanted to look at this property and why it might be listed for that price or not. Now, if I hit update valuation and close, that's going to then close this section. It's thinking about it. And so now it puts us back out here to our CMA page. So in here, my average of comps is $349,000 kind of thing. And so you can see that originally the original estimate was $370, $131. And so just based on the average of my comps is $350,000. Now I have the ability also next is to come in and make adjustments. And so some of you may choose, I don't make any adjustments, and some folks do make adjustments. And so if you come in and you hit edit, you're able to come in and you can, and so like this shows all the different comps all the way through that you've selected. And so it pulls it all up on one page. And so, so you're able to come in and so you can say on any adjustments that you make on all the comparables, we'll make a value adjustment on the subject property. It won't make a value adjustment on this individual property. So I know that that's different than how a lot of you were taught to do CMAs, that kind of stuff. But this is how they do it here. So this is really what it is. So for example, if I take and I say that, you know, like this property here is a little bit worse, or this one is a little bit better, you can see how much value it will add or take away from the subject property. And so I can do that. I can make any other kind of adjustments in here that I need to. I can also enter. So if you happen to know numbers, adjustments, you know, like this house has a pool, whatever, that kind of thing. You can make any of those comments in here and it will show up on the final CMA. And so you could come in and not make any adjustments if you wanted to. This is, you know, I find that about half the folks make adjustments on their when they run CMAs, and half the folks don't. And so this is if you choose to, here's how you do it. So so we're just gonna hit save that and close it. And so my average of comps. So I've confirmed my home facts. Let's just kind of go back there. We confirmed our home facts. We picked an average of our comparables. Or we picked our comparables. It gave me an average of that. We went in and made some adjustments. Again, that's a U call on there. And then it gives me, and then it lets me do a recommended price. Now, I can come in here and say any number I want to, but I'm going to recommend 369,900 as a recommended list price, a range. You can put all that kind of stuff. Or I can revert back to the original kind of thing, because the original had it at 361,930. Was 361,930 would be the result of the comparable analysis, which means if I took the comps plus the adjustments, is going to be right there. But a lot of times, some folks, some agents, some realtors will like to be, I like to end all my prices in 990. Some folks I like to do it in odd numbers. It just doesn't really matter. If you want to, then you're just going to hit edit and you're going to change it to what you want. And so I'm doing 369.9 kind of thing. Now, once you get all the way through, then you go, I can either clear it and start all over, or I can just hit create report. And so here we go. It gives me a seller's report. Now, once you get in here, this is one of those instances. Remember when I said, watch out for information overload, okay? Because if you'll look right here on the seller's report and to the right, approximately 81 friggin' pages, okay? Now, I have had some very detailed sellers over my years, but most are gonna shake their head, roll their eyes, and look at me like I'm a big dummy if I give them an 81-page document just on the seller's report. So if you just choose to hit run report, well, then that's on you. You go for it, and then be prepared to try and explain why you sent them all this data that's just going to confuse the daylights out of them. So again, I'm not trying to be, I love data. I love being able to share information, and some of your clients will be very, very interested in it. But I just think that 81 pages is on the verge. Okay, it's beyond ridiculous. Okay, I don't know anyone that has let's sit down and read a book kind of thing. So in here, so as suggested, you come and hit the little plus sign. And so now you get to decide what pages do you want to use. Now, for our purposes today, I'm going to do all 81 pages because I want you to see how they all look. But I also want you to see how ridiculous that is. But that's why you can come in here and you get to choose what do you want and what do you not want. So of course you want the subject, property summary, and property values, listing price, comp analysis, all that. But then you can come in and you can have home facts and homeowner facts and extended homeowner facts, which is even more. And then it shows the breakdown of the refined values. It will also show all the property photos on there. It will also show all the historical photos. So most of the time, there's not much need to go back and find all that. You might want to put in assessed values. Do you want to put mortgage records? I normally don't put mortgage records on there, especially when I'm dealing with a seller, because it just kind of creeps them out. People are just really touchy about that kind of stuff. And I'd just rather that we don't have to go there. I don't want to make them feel comfortable. If you want to put mortgage records on there, more power to you. It's going to show any kind of sales and financing, market activity, market health. It's going to go through and show your comps. It's going to show recent market activity, and then all that. And then, of course, about the RPR data. And then additionally, you get to choose how many subject property photos are you going to include. Let's include main photos only. Limit market activity selection to 8 properties. That's fine. Include side-by-side comparisons. Yep, we'll do that. And then you can decide if you want to include your notes. If you want, include your seller's proceeds in there to be able to do a seller's net sheet. Gosh, some things are even turned off. You know, we can suppress the estimated value of the property if we wanted to, but at this point, why would we? So once we get all that kind of stuff, now we can personalize it, send it. But right now, I'm just going to run this report, and so it's going to think about it. And while it's thinking about it, we're gonna go. First, I got another question kind of thing. So the first question is can I tell the system to search within a 1-2 mile radius? Absolutely, you really can. That's not really a problem, but you know, this is just with my little broker's hat on right now. I like to, you know, I prefer to always do search inside the subject property neighborhood first. Now I could have, and even in that map search that I just did, I actually went outside, not on purpose, but so you can pick and choose just the properties from inside the subject property, the subject neighborhood, by putting that in there. But then you have to really know your market. So I prefer to do the inside the neighborhood first, because even an appraiser is going to weight more value on properties inside the subject neighborhood than properties outside the subject neighborhood. And so, you know, you can go a mile radius out if you have to, if you don't have enough comparables. But and that is easily doing in there, because you can search by radius, you can search by polygon, you can draw a box and the whole 9 yards on there, kind of thing. So all right, let's dismiss that one. So let's see. So it is still generating. It's going to take another minute on there. Are there any other questions about pulling that CMA? Because I know I went a little bit fast, and we may do another one if I need to, but I'm not sure if I lost you or if everyone is on board, because it's really not difficult to do a CMA on here. And like I said, the other benefit is that it automatically pulled data from both Georgia MLS and FMLS at the same time. I didn't have to worry about missing comps. So if anybody has any questions, oh, ding dong, Avon here. So let's download that report. All right, so this is our 81-page monster that we did. And I just want to walk you through it. And so, sorry if I'm not trying to bore you, but I want you to see why I meant when I said it's going to be a lot of information. So we start off with my comparable analysis, and it just puts the price on there, what I think it should be. If I put a range, it would have been put it on there as well. It goes through and lists all the public facts, and if I'd made any changes, it would show those on there as well. It shows all the extended facts that we had on there. If I wanted it to, it would have all the property photos in there and all the historical photos in there. It shows the history of the property and what its value has been, any kind of improvement, all the assessed values, the sales tax information, or property tax information, not sales tax. And then it shows, the mortgage information on there. Again, it's up to you if you want to do it. I don't normally see the sellers like seeing that personally, kind of thing. And so you can see the sales and financing activity report as well, market activity with heat maps, more listing price versus sales price, average price adjustments, market health, again, median list price versus listing volume, median sales price by square foot, price range of homes sold, price per square foot of homes sold. Again, information overload. I want you to notice that we're only about 15% through this report right now. So now here's our sellers report. Only now are we starting to get to the comps map, and you can, the comps are good because you want to see that the comparables that I used are from within the Lake Haven neighborhood, kind of thing, and they want to be able to see where those comps are, kind of thing. And so now we get to see what each one of those properties is. Of course, the first one is always the subject property, and then a breakdown of all the additional comparable properties. So all these are now. Next, it also breaks down and gives you a one-page listing of each one of those comparables that you use. So if you select 30 comparables, well, you're going to have an even crazier long report than what we have here today. So sorry, I'm trying to get all the way down through here. After that, now it has recent market activity for the zip code that the property sits in, along with a seller's report again, kind of thing. This is a market activity seller's report. So this is just showing overall in the county, and it's only selecting 8 properties on there to do it. I don't normally include this when I do my seller's report, but you can if that's what you want to. Again, to me, this is one of those that I almost 100% of the time nix, because it's just too much and it confuses my client to be able to have comps that, why would I show comps that aren't from the subject neighborhood? So I don't like that one personally, but again, that's a me thing. I don't, and the same thing. So next it shows a market activity pending report, and it's pulling from pending sales, but not from within the subject neighborhood. So, and then it gives individual pages. So this I find incredibly confusing for our clients. And so again, and then we have the close section. So please heed my warning. Don't leave those turned on, kind of thing. Sorry if I'm making you dizzy, because I'm making me dizzy. Next, we have the distressed properties report. Again, don't need that one in my opinion, but I just wanted you to see everything that we were talking about when we went through. It even gives us expireds. Again, expired. The only time that I use expireds personally is to show an overpriced property. It's like, look, these are all the properties that are expired, and they're all priced where you want to price your home, kind of thing, because they're too expensive, kind of thing. So by the time you get through all this, you finally get all the way down here, and then it gives you your recommended pricing strategy. Now, this one is a good one, kind of thing, because it shows everything that we just did, the average of the comps, the adjustments we made, and the recommended price, and then a place to sign off. And then you have then you can also go through and do a seller's net sheet. And a seller's net sheet is one of those things that so few agents do, and it's one of those great things that as realtors we can use to stand out against other agents out there, kind of thing. I find that being one of the biggies out there that we can do to help differentiate ourselves from the competition. So, all right, let's see. So that's how do you pull comps in RPR. Does anyone have any questions before I move past that? So make sure we're all on the same page here, kind of thing. Because at the end, I may pull another one at the very end if we have time. This is normally one of the major things that we do for our clients is to pull comps, and pulling comps in RPR is crazy easy and very useful, and I get it from both the MLSs at the same time. So I am going to encourage you to do that yourself right there. I do want to jump over real quickly and let's look at the marketing tab. I'm not as huge of a fan of the marketing tabs as I think a lot of people are, but these are here. I wanted to at least give you a brief overview of what they all do. Really quickly, Wendy says, what's a good number of pages on average for the CMA? I do base how much detail I go into by the type of clients I have. If I have a very free spirit client kind of thing, all those facts and figures are really gonna bore them, and I'm gonna lose them. And so I might cut some of the data out. And if I have folks that are much more analytical, I might keep some of it in. I will never keep all the market information on there, because that is just way too much. But between 8 and 20 pages is kind of what we end up with. And I do like to print them front and back so it doesn't seem so much, but I like to have the data, and then we can, it's best. I don't ever like to just send this to clients either, because it just seems really, really daunting. If I just email this to a client, especially the 81 page monster, all I did was just destroy them on knowing what's really going on. So I always like to present it and be able to explain it. Plus, it gives us the chance to show our expertise. All right, so let's talk about prospecting for residential clients. So if you just click on prospect for residential clients, it's going to pull up and it's going to give you that handy dandy little walkthrough kind of thing. And so you can either prospect for buyers or you can prospect for sellers. And so everybody wants sellers. So let's just click on prospecting for sellers. Now, here's the thing is that these RPR is not going to give you phone numbers. Okay, RPR is going to give you addresses and mailing labels so that you can do your research that way, but it's not going to it won't give you any phone numbers and that kind of thing. So just straight up on that one. All right, so it says we're going to start by clicking research, do that. Then we're going to hit map search, done that several times kind of thing. So we are on residential, so we're going to hit OK. And now we're going to enter a zip code. And since we've been there all day, let's go with 30253 one more time. So the spinny wheel goes, and now it says, I'm going to click the filters icon to expand that search out, which I did. And so it says, first change my records to public records. Okay, it is. Now, it's not taking market and sale data. So it says for best results with public records, let's use the filters reduced to 500 or less. Okay, sounds good. So we're going to come down here. And so first we want to check the owner. So we can look at either owner occupied or absentee owner. And so if I want to do owner occupied, I just click owner occupied on there. And now I can say, how long do I want that someone's lived in a home? You can select 5 to 10, 10 to 15 years. And right now, honestly, we really are seeing where 10 to 15 years is really the, if someone hasn't lived in a house 10 years, the chances of them moving is pretty low. The average home ownership here in Georgia is right at 11 years right now. All right, so once you did that, we pulled public records and all that on homes that have been owned more than 10 years. Now I can come in and I can put in price, size, bedroom, bathroom, distressed, open house, all that kind of jazz. And there's an update and search. Now, once that's going to give me the, so it gave me more than 500 results. So it's only going to do that. But now I'm able to also come in here. That's the map view. I can also come in and look at the list view of all those properties, as well as I can look at the, if I wanted to look at it this way through the, the big picture kind of thing. So once we have that, now I can come in and I can either select all, I can select just the ones I'm interested in, boom, boom, boom. And then I hit mailing labels. And then from this point on, I can come in and I can do it as a PDF. I can send it out on an Avery 5160. These are when you buy labels, you can find the different ones that are in there. Or you can just do it as a CSV file. And, and then you can say, if I want it to go by the property as the type of address, I can use the owner name or current resident, the whole 9 yards. Let's see. Yep. And then I can still say all I want is owner occupied. And then this thing gives you 2,000 email addresses to do per month. And if you want to do more than 2,000, they'll let you buy more, of course. But most of the time, if you're sending out 2,000 letters a month, that's a pretty good number. So I'm not saying there aren't people out there doing more, but that kind of thing. So once you do that, you hit export, and then you can either print off those labels or create the CSV, all those kind of things, how you'd like to on there. All right. If we go back here and so that was for sellers. If we, again, same thing on buyers. If you prospecting for residential clients, you go into the buyers tab, just like before, start on research, map search, make sure it's on residential. And then you want to put in, the area that you want to do. I could even come in here and put in like Lake Haven and Henry County, which puts that on here. Then we're going to put in, it's going to filter. We're going to go by public records. And then we want to come in, and now we want to go with absentee owner. And so in Lake Haven, I want to see anyone that's been in from 5 to 10 years. So you can see there's only 5 of these results in there. There's 5 absentee owners in there. And so now I can go in, and so again, I can just hit the label, and it will show that these are the 5 absentee owners in that neighborhood. So now I have the ability to reach out to them and say, hey, are you interested in selling your property? Or I could even send information directly to the people who are living there, because the folks who are living there are renters. And so, and if you've been renting a home, these folks have been renting a $400,000 house. They can probably afford to buy a house on their own and not keep renting, kind of thing. And so once that same thing as before, you can pull it up, and now I can do a PDF. I can do all these kind of things. I can send it out. I can do, if I want to send it to the people occupying the home, I go to the property. If I want it to go to the owners, then I go to the tax billing address. It just kind of depends on who I want that to be going to, kind of thing. And so I can do owner name or current resident instead, because if it's because if I'm going after the renters, I want it to be current resident, or I can give it a custom name if I wanted to, or no name at all. And then I can say if I want to be the absentee owners, whole 9 yards. And so you can see I only have 5 records on there. If I wanted to export them or print them off, I could easily. It's only 5. So that is how you do the marketing for both residential for buyers and sellers. Prospecting for the commercial side of things is pretty similar as well. It walks you through the same thing, only now you're looking at, most of the time you're looking at people looking for leases as well as sellers in here. So just like before, you're going to start with research, map search, but now you're going to come over here and toggle this to commercial. And then you have the ability to, we're going to put in a zip code 30253. Well, if you can type it, 30253. So put that in, and then it's going to walk us through just like we did before. We can, we're looking for public records. We have all the different property types in there. So let's change down here to sold within the last 10 to 15 years, 15 to 20, update and search. And so just like before, it's going to give me all those. I can make the list. I can choose whichever ones I want to do. And then it does the mailing labels the exact same way as we did before. All right, I'm sorry if I did get a comment that I went a bit fast, but I don't find a lot of realtors using this function nearly as much. So let's see. Teresa says, for marketing, either for buyer or seller, can we target neighborhoods in a specific school district for a certain price range? Yes, we can. So you would come over here and you would do map search, and then so we're going to take my Lake Haven. So it should come up Lake Haven in Henry County. So now I'm searching. I'm on commercial too, so let me change that to residential. So now I'm in Lake Haven in Henry County, kind of thing. And so I have the ability, and if I come in here and I hit filters, and so now I can come in and I can look for, if I'm looking for public records, I can come in here and I'm looking for absentee owners, or I can be looking for occupied owners, owner occupied properties, kind of thing. And so I'm able to search the same thing, because I have these 78 owner occupied properties in there, and then hit update and search. And now I can see the whole list view. And so these are all the owner occupied properties in that neighborhood as well, along with their addresses and their names. And I can make their mailing labels the same thing. So I hope that I know I'm going kind of fast, but we are down to like the last 15 minutes and I'm trying to get all the way through. So I will hang on. And if anybody has other questions or things they want me to show them, I don't mind doing it, but I like to be on time. And so at 12:30, I'm going to let those that have put their time in and done their due. They're going to be able to dip out, and anyone that wants to ask any kind of questions, or if you want me to pull something up, I have no problem hanging on and doing that with you. But we're going to, I do want to try and end right on time and respect everybody's time on here. So, all right, let's go. We're going to go back into the marketing tab. And so next thing is we're going to create a residential property flyer. And so you can do these for your properties kind of thing. So I can, I'm still in here under 8210 Nollbrook Lane. That's where we were earlier. And so just to make things easier, same thing. I'm just going to come in here and hit property flyer, just like I did before. We're going to hit the little plus button. And so I can choose which is the main photo I want to use. So I'm going to use that photo on there. If that's the one, I can put in here, I can put in my test, beautiful home, and I can, more stuff here. And so I can come in here, and so I can, if I wanted to, I could suppress the year it was built. I could suppress the tax amount. I could suppress the subdivision, school district, any of that I wanted to suppress on there. And then I can also choose if I wanted to have estimated list price, whatever in there. And then at that point, I can either just send it out to individual people. I can also run that report. And so just like on the other reports, the other cool thing that you can do in here is once the property flyer is done, I don't love the property flyers on here, just if I can be brutally honest about it. They don't look terrible, but they don't look great. They're not as customizable as I would like them to personally be. Hopefully that'll come in another update. But, they're better than not having one. So it's a pretty easy way to make a property flyer without a whole lot of work and without a whole lot of time, trouble, and that kind of stuff. And they look good. They just, there's so many things coming out on the different platforms that I just think that they could look a little bit better, and I hope that they'll update that a little bit more. All right, I do have another question. It says, how do you find phone numbers and email addresses for prospective clients? Is there a different database one can subscribe to? So yes, what that is, so you can use a multiple, and if you're here in the Atlanta area, if your brokerage has access to FMLS, then you have access to Remind. Remind gives you phone numbers and some email addresses. A lot of brokerages also have Vulcan 7 or RedX. Like here at Maximum One, our agents have access to Vulcan 7, which gives out where you can go in and search by phone number and email addresses as well as a system called Cole Realty Resource. So this is our, again, this is, the flyer that it did. If I had put more comments here, if I put more comments where it says more stuff here, that would be a paragraph and that kind of stuff. And so it does just a very basic flyer. And honestly, there's nothing wrong with basic. But the other cool thing is that now that I have a property flyer, I can come over here and I can share that property flyer out directly on Facebook if I wanted to, kind of thing. So, all right. Let's see. I do have another question here. It says, when you're using RPR for testing for sellers, can you search by subdivision name? Yes, you absolutely can search just by subdivision name and pull up a full list of all those folks. Maria says, can I do one flyer at a time or multiple flyers? The flyers are all one at a time on there, kind of thing. Okie dokie. Let's see where are we at here. So last thing under marketing is you can do the same thing. You can create a commercial property report, and that is very, very similar to the residential property reports that we did before. We are not going to go into that because RPR commercial is another basically completely it's an additional class, and so I really want this class is mainly intended for residential, but we've been through at this point we've been through all the research tab, we've been through all the marketing tab now, we've been through all the reports, and then we talked about the learn, we've talked about help. Where I really wanted to go now is I wanted to show you RPR mobile. And so you're going to have to bear with me for one moment, and we are going to check out our technology today. So I am going to screen share my phone. So with any luck, it's pulling up right now. So with any luck, you will hopefully be able to start seeing my phone in all its glory, for what it's worth. Well, it's thinking about it anyway. And just like before, I have the giant spinny wheel on here. Let's see what we have here. Boom. Hopefully it is kicking off. All right. Does everybody see my main screen? Hopefully you do. All right, so we're going to go in here and we're going to go into RPR mobile. Let's see. I just want to make sure that everybody really can see me on here. So, all right, so here we are. So we're going to go in and we're going to hit the RPR. And yes, I have a lot of email messages. And all right. Where is, here we go. So now you can see this is our main screen when you log into RPR mobile. Now the same data that we had in RPR, the same thing that we had on the desktop or the laptop, is the same thing that you're going to see on here. And so we can come in here, and if you, so first thing is just going to kind of show, the different areas kind of thing. And so it pulled up McDonough, Georgia. I can pull up any of those. I can also come over and look at the estimated median value, list price, the whole 9 yards, what's going on. And then I can scroll over and I can even do searches. I can see my listings. I can do my market areas, schools, keyword searches, the whole 9 yards. And just like the others, I also have the ability, so I can click on reports. And so I can pull up a market activity report, a neighborhood report. I can create a buyer tour if we're going out and doing the whole 9 yards. So a lot of the things, the same things that we did sitting on the desktop, sitting here, we have the ability to do a lot of those same things while we're out with our clients. So we can pull up a market activity report and share it to them, send it to them, the whole 9 yards while we're out and about. We can pull up a property report if we wanted to on a particular property. I can also have the ability to pull up all the recent stuff that we had just done. So like in here, we can see all the recent properties that we looked at. These are all the recent searches that we've just all done together. Here's all the recent reports that we have. So if I'm out and I wanted to, share that report, of course, it's going to do that. It's going to say, Realtors ensure compliance with MSO rules, license law, da. So we're going to continue on that. And now I can send this out. I can send this to my lovely bride, which she will absolutely love to get right now. But so while you're out and about, you can send these things directly from the mobile app while you're out with your clients. That's one of the things I really like about this as well. I also could even send those same things out. I could put those out really on my own Facebook on here kind of thing. I can also just hit view report and I can see the same thing on that report from here as I'm going along. If I had made any notes, I could also reference any of those notes done in there. I can also pull up the same searches that we had done before. So like here is Lake Haven in Henry County, which gave me that right there. And so, you know, I can come in here and I can, if you hit these three little dots down in the bottom right-hand corner, that's how you expand all your map options and what you're trying to do, kind of thing. So, so if we hit filter is where we can come in here and we can say, we can look at what we're looking for. So I want to see for sale data. I mean, or I might want to see for lease. I can like if all I'm looking for is active, I just may turn those items off. You know, I get to include anything I want. I can do sliders on price, the whole 9 yards. I can hit apply filters, and now I can see that in there we have one active listing in that neighborhood. And so now I click on that, and it pulls up. By the way, this is just like on the desktop, this is pulling up data from FMLS as well as from Georgia MLS. So I click on that, and now I can look at, while I'm out in the field, I can see this entire property, and I can see everything that's going on with it. I can also pull up any kind of nearby listing, nearby comps. I can even create a comp analysis on the fly if I wanted to. All those 500 pages of homeowner facts and that kind of stuff, you still have access to it. It's all right here. I mean, you want to blow a client's mind while you're out here with them. This is really great information. I can tell you exactly everything to do with this property. You can see everything going on with it. I know that the HOA here is $425. You know, I can see what the price changes have been. I know what the schools are. It's in our Union Grove High School district. I can see any kind of interior, exterior features. I can see all the tax information, and it's all right here at my fingertips. Is that cool or what? Because I think it's pretty cool. So I can also immediately then go over and I can hit reports, and I can send out a property report on that property. I can, you know, turn on custom pages, yes or no. I can change everything, the whole 9 yards, hit next. And so then I can either download it or email it right from right here. If I download it, it just like on the others, it generates that report kind of thing. So we're going to exit the reports right now. And so let's go back to our home page kind of thing. Also, if you have anything saved, this will pull up anything that you have saved in here. And so that just kind of lets you do that, as well as any of your saved searches that you have. So you can do a search while you're on the fly. And that is RPR mobile. That's just a kind of a brief overview. Again, I didn't want to, you know, we don't have enough time to dig in hugely. We only got 3 or 4 minutes left, and we're about to start wrapping up. So I did want, so all right. So I stopped sharing that. I do have a couple of other things that I did want to share with you, and we're almost there. Sorry, I'm coming up. I know. Click, 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 click. All right, so I am going to go back here really quickly. Well, in a minute I am. I can get my act together. All right, so again, this is how you go to get support. You can get it at narrpr.com and access it. You can blog.nar. You can call the phone number 24/7. Support links are at the bottom of every single page, and you can even connect on Facebook with that. I am going to launch the poll, which is where you can give me some feedback on whether or not you enjoyed this class, if it was helpful. You know, it helps me get better. So I really would like, you know, if you would, please give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, things that you'd like for me to see better, done better in the whole 9 yards. I really, truly hope that there was good value for today's class with you. I do know that it was about like drinking out of a fire hose. Okay, it's kind of just a nonstop whirlwind of tech and computery things. And I know that for most of us, that's not our comfort place. That's not our happy place. And there's a whole lot to it. But I do hope that it was helpful. And if I can do anything to help you with it, then please do. I've got just 2 minutes left. And so I'm going to answer any more remaining questions. And then afterwards, and so at 2:30, if you would, you are free to dip out of here. Well, you got 2 minutes left, so you got to suck it up for 2 more minutes. But I hate being long. You know, a lot of times I do run long, and I really don't. I try hard to respect everyone's time. So I do have a few questions. I'm gonna try and address those really quickly. If you have any other questions that you'd like for me to address, please throw them up here, and I'll try and answer them. And then if you want to hang out afterwards and ask me any questions or have me show you anything, I have no problem doing that either. So let's see. Kevin asked, do we have access to the commercial application too with being a realtor? Yes, sir, you sure do. So you can access that. And if you want, I'll actually show you. It is automatically included in there. And so that is, let's see, here we are. So if you come in here and like once you log into RPR, when you first log in, you have the ability right here to either toggle between residential and commercial. So you do have access to it. I am going to be honest that it doesn't have every real commercial property in there. It does not have LoopNet and CoStar in there. And then the other thing that we find with, you know, I do a lot of commercial. And so there's a lot of commercial brokers that don't share their data at all. So you're never going to have all of it in there, but it is way better than just going through the MLSs kind of thing. So let's see. George is asking if I have an advanced RPR class. I don't right now, only because, you know, I'm not sure where to go with it yet. You know, I created this class just to try and get, you know, my goal really is to get much more realtors using this product, because it is one of those things that can help a realtor to stand out. And now you don't have to search both MLSs, and you know, you can create these things on the fly. It has mobile apps. It has a lot of really great benefits to it. And so honestly, if you have any particular questions, if there's something I can help with, I don't mind at all. Alan at Max One Partners, ALAN at max1partners.com. You can shoot me an email, or if you want my direct number, 770-616-5062. I'll help in any way I can. I have no problem at all with that. And it is on my mind to do an advanced class, but I just don't have it. I don't have it live, or it's not ready to go yet. Let's see. Yolanda says, can I put in an MLS for another area that I'm not a member to pull up information? Like if I have someone relocating to another area, you can only use that information from that other MLS if you have a login information, if you have a username and password. So like if you're trying to get into Mountain MLS and you're not a member of Mountain MLS, then that won't work for you. You have to be a member of that MLS. Now, the good news is a lot of times we can get a lot of secondary memberships anymore, especially if they're realtor memberships. You can get secondary memberships. So a lot of times that can help you on there. But if you're not a member of that MLS, then it won't work. Let's see. It says in the past when I send my listings to my clients through RPR, and the same listing, and if that listing is sent twice, is there a way to only have that listing once? That should have cleaned itself up with the new update. I can't guarantee that it has, but I believe that with the last update that they just did, that should not be a problem any further. I'm not guaranteeing it, and I could check, and I'll be glad to check a little bit further. But at one point, that we had that same issue where it was just listed. Why is this thing listed twice? But that should not be an issue. That should have been cleaned up now. Let's see. All right, it is 12:32. I greatly appreciate you guys being here. I hope this was helpful. If I can be of any service, please let me know. And if there's anybody, and so everyone is clear to dip out if you're done for the day, and I appreciate it. If you have anything that you need me to address, I will hang out for a few minutes and see if I can help with any way, shape, or form. So otherwise, thank you guys. I hope this was helpful. Please let me know if how I can do better. So thank you guys. All right, I'm in here checking questions kind of thing and see if I can't help. All right, so thank you, Georgia. You have a great week 2. Mita, let's see. Does Maximum One Realty offer any commercial subscription services to their agents? No. You have access to LoopNet for free, but it only gives you, it's fairly limited. CoStar is the other one that's in our area, but it is CoStar is not. They don't allow group subscriptions to anything like that. A CoStar subscription will run you around $250 a month just for basic listing data. And if you want sales data, it's another $250 a month. So, it ain't easy getting into commercial, and commercial ain't necessarily cheap. So RPR is probably one of your best resources for that. The other good option for that is if you're a realtor, consider joining the Atlanta Commercial Board of Realtors. The Atlanta Commercial Board of Realtors is the largest commercial board in the nation. And there is additional opportunities in marketing and sharing properties through there as well. All right, let's see. I'm not sure how many more folks we have. I think I have a few more still online. Does anybody have any other questions? Is there anything else that you guys need? Anything that I can offer? If so, if you'd put it into the Q&A section, I'll hang out for just a minute. Again, if you need me, you can also just call, text, smoke signals. I answer most of it. So, well, I don't see anything. So we're going to call this thing quits. So thank you guys. I really appreciate you guys. And I hope that you guys have a wonderful day.